45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This show is like the backup quarterback of the sports media industry. We're all moxie. We're all grit. We just want it.
Come on. We're high picks here. We just have a lunch pail mentality around
No. You're not getting it. You need a chip on your shoulder. You need to be an undersized, underdrafted backup quarterback, or we're going to show that they're wrong about it.
I got the undersized part of it.
Yeah, we got the shortest producer in the game. We have Kyler Murray over there. We have Stu, who's got the worst collection of teams to root for in the history of sports.
It is dark, yeah.
We have me, who is born to hold a clipboard. And you haven't won a Super Bowl your whole life. You don't even know what it tastes like.
How did you just nail that? The draft. Just the Moxie Squad.
The Moxie Squad. Is that our new nickname?
We do have a lot of Moxie. All right, we're the backup quarterback of shows. There, it's set.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? Welcome to the show. It's Friday. You made it. Big inhale, big exhale. Sit back, we'll entertain you. It is Maggie Gray, it's Andrew Perloff, it's Maggie and Perloff. We're across the country on CBS Sports Radio, and we're streaming live right now, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Yeah. We got a lot to get into today, including what is going on with Ken Francis, and how is this a person in our life now?
Ken Francis.
A clearly made up name.
If you said that name out of the blue, would you think it was either fake or...
Definitely fake.
Maybe an adult film name?
Yeah, I feel like it's not an adult film name, but the commercial for his entire gym looks and sounds like a porno commercial. Wait, before we play it, let me get the audience up to speed on what the heck we are talking about right now. So basically, here's what happened. Yesterday, the NFL sent out a memo to all teams basically reminding them that if someone reaches out to you to try to negotiate, I don't know, a multi-million-dollar deal on behalf of Lamar Jackson, that person has to be certified by the NFL Players Association. And someone named Ken Francis, who is Lamar's business partner, apparently has been reaching out to teams. Now, this is how Tom Pelissero of NFL Network described Mr. Ken Francis. Ken Francis is a Florida man who most recently was pitching a home fitness invention, I'm told. He's now trying to negotiate a 9-figure contract with NFL teams who are being told they are not allowed to negotiate with him because he's not a certified agent. Right. Did everyone get all that?
But nowhere does it say that this guy has Lamar's approval to call these teams to negotiate.
No, not at all.
But I think we all immediately assumed that because it would make sense that Lamar would have a proxy calling teams because we're 2 weeks into this and we have not heard a single offer. So I would hope that Lamar, if he really isn't getting offers, would reach out to people. So, I mean, when you need help like this, who do you call?
Who do you call?
Ken Francis.
I mean, I wouldn't trust my 9-figure deal to anyone but Ken Francis. Yeah. I don't know, Scott Boras and or whatever. Who's the guy from Miami?
Drew Rosenhaus.
Drew Rosenhaus, take a back seat, dude. I got Ken Francis on my side. Now, the problem is that Lamar made this very confusing to everyone because the tweet to the Florida man, and by the way, if anyone ever describes you as Florida man or Florida woman, just make no mistake, they're insulting you. Like, that's a reference to the ridiculous headlines that come out of the state of Florida, like Florida man, you know, drives his alligator through McDonald's and stuff like that. So Lamar Jackson quote tweeted him and said, "Stop lying. That man never tried to negotiate for me." So like, all right, so maybe Ken Francis is like this rogue operator. Maybe Lamar doesn't know him at all. But then an hour later, Lamar puts out this commercial on his own certified social media.
Combining outdoor training and a portable gym maximizes time and workout routines. With over 250 plus workout routines, the Entire Gym brings you the flexibility to work out anywhere, anytime.
Okay, and Lamar put that out while he's peddling this thing that looks like carry-on luggage that you would be like, basically holding going through the airport. He said, my business partner, Ken, and I will be dropping the Entire Gym this summer. Stay tuned.
Right. So he's his business partner, but apparently he's not negotiating any deals. Maybe he doesn't want Ken to ask for 2% of his contract.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give Ken a cut.
He'll give him definitely a cut of the Entire Gym, which is going to be a huge seller, obviously.
Sure. No,
it's going to be the new Peloton.
Obviously.
But everything Lamar says and does always leaves ambiguity, right? There isn't a single thing that he says that you're 100% sure what he means.
No, but I think that's a little bit because Lamar is like a little bit younger.
Yeah, well,
he's a little bit speaking a different language just because he's just so much younger than us.
No, well, I mean,
he's 26 years old.
But it's not a different language when he says this man is not negotiating for me. That's clear.
No, that's not his different language. But, I think that, he's just some of the stuff he puts is just a little bit more like younger people.
What did he tweet today? He said, I am the storm. That's not a younger.
No, but like.
He quoted Breaking Bad.
No, but a couple tweets ago where he had a guy wearing all these caps, cap. He's like using slang that younger kids use.
Yeah, so today, by the way, I still think he's trolling everybody, actually, because I think he's messing with people. Why would he say, I'm the storm today? What's he trying to say?
I don't know. It's either about the Entire Gym or it's about his contract. Now, here's the one part. This could all just be semantics. Like, does Ken Francis, if that is his real name, calls up a team to say, like, hey, I've got a business opportunity for you where you can get involved in the Entire Gym. Hey, while I have you on the line, what do you think about, I don't know, $250 million for my guy Lamar? Maybe it's like, just the conversation just sort of went that way.
I would think the Titans have enough exercise equipment that they wouldn't need to buy the Entire Gym.
You always want to keep out for a good business opportunity, though, Perloff.
Well, I don't know if it's a business opportunity. Maybe the Titans are like, you know what? Maybe if we had 12 of those, we could use the back practice field, and they could use the Entire Gym. No, it's definitely Lamar being confusing. So what's going on here? Tell me what you think is actually happening with Lamar Jackson right now, Friday, 3:06 Eastern, because nobody knows.
I think that Lamar has an inner circle, and I think some of those people maybe have been communicating with NFL teams, but we're not sure why. Was it under the guise of the Entire Gym and this business thing, which, by the way, brilliant marketing, we're all talking about it today, or was it because they're actually trying to negotiate for Lamar? Like, it's a slippery slope for him because what the NFL is saying is it's got to be Lamar directly if this thing's going to get done. Right.
And, well, if Ken had the license, though, if he had gotten thing, then he could also do it. He could definitely do it.
Yeah. Which you don't need to be a lawyer to get one of those approvals.
My point is, I think teams want none of this. That memo, they do not want to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
It seems like a mess.
It's unusual. Listen, guys get contracts done without agents, though. Roquan Smith just got one done with the Ravens for a massive deal.
Yeah, I don't know, but he wasn't negotiating through the Twitter.
He also wasn't franchise tagged.
And they had just traded for him, right? Yeah. They obviously
he had a lot of leverage.
Yeah, they had to re-sign him. Yeah, I don't know. It feels very different. Lamar's putting himself out in the open market. I don't know. I just can't see this working out great for him. I think that we're already getting to Lamar's going to cost himself some money, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, definitely, because he's so talented. But the other part is the NFL is now warning teams. So if the market was lukewarm or whatever it was before, then what's it going to be now? This was interesting. Yes, go ahead.
What GM is going to get a call from Ken Francis and say, all right, let's start these talks off?
I'm sorry, who is this? I'm telling you, the video they have on their website, which, by the way, you can't even buy one of these things on the website because I tried, and you have to check back. They're not ready to take your payment.
That's because the demand is so high.
Oh, of course. I was surprised the website was still up. I thought maybe we'd all crash the website.
I was hoping you were getting a prototype.
No, I thought maybe I could be like customer number one. But I wanted to see how much this Entire Gym costs. There's no cost on it. You have no idea. But I'll tell you what, the video that's playing on the website looks like it's the beginning of a porno. It's like a woman who's kind of like these like workout clothes, and she like goes over to the closet, like pulls something out. It's just like, it doesn't look, the lighting's not great. You know, it was definitely like shot with like a camera that's not the latest model.
Do you guys remember those workout shows that used to be on ESPN 24/7? You might be
like the Billy Blanks and stuff, like the Tybo.
No, Gilad, maybe? You guys all too young for this? It was the ESPN used to be about 80% workout shows. Kiana? You guys don't know who Kiana is?
No.
Who?
I know Billy Blanks.
I don't know the name, but I generally remember the workout shows. I just don't remember the names of them.
Oh, anyway, yeah. Basically, ESPN used to run workout shows all morning, and right until they doubled up on SportsCenter. And all I will say is, men were not watching for workouts.
I know. They were watching for squats, and shoulder presses, or whatever.
It looks a little like this video that you of the home. What's it called again? The entire gym. The entire gym. Yeah, it was an entire gym style video. Yeah. Anyway,
it's like, depending on the music here, it's like, is the pizza delivery man going to show up next? Like, what is going on in this video? Like, hey, you've been working out. I can see it now. But no, this is legit. This is Lamar's business partner, who may or may not have been contacting teams.
God, I can't. You guys didn't remember body shaping with Kiana Tom and Gilad? Oh my God!
No, it sounds made up.
It was.
You sound like you're ESPN, the Ken Francis of shows.
By the late '80s, ESPN was 75% workout shows. I am not joking this at all.
Until we need programming.
Yeah, until Dan Patrick came along, and when he left CNN in '92, they started to double up SportsCenter. Otherwise, all morning was workout shows.
Oh, listen, it wasn't even that long ago that SportsCenter was taped, and they would just run the same SportsCenter like all day.
Yeah, when let's see, when I was in college, we would watch the late SportsCenter. And then we'd watch it, or we'd watch it again in the morning. We'd see Dan say the same jokes like 4 times.
It's really sad.
Yeah, no, but it was before the internet. I mean, before phones had every highlight. So Dan and Keith were the ones who informed you on what was happening.
This is why they're so famous and so talented to this day.
Apparently, Kiana and Gilad are not as.
They fell off. They are not remembered in history, because I have no idea who you're talking about. I remember having VHS tapes, though, of like Cindy Crawford's workout. I don't know why, when I was 10, I felt like I was going to do a Cindy Crawford workout. I definitely wasn't looking like Cindy. That's for sure.
There was definitely also Jane Fonda, the famous one.
Jane Fonda had famous ones.
Somebody's got to call in here and back me up here.
It sounds like you're Ken Francising this thing.
No, I'm serious. It was on forever. You don't worry. I can't believe it. Yeah, all right. Somebody call in, some old like me, call in and remind everybody that ESPN used to be mostly workout shows that nobody worked out to.
I'm going to be honest, even the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, the chat might not actually be listening to the show. Sometimes they're just doing their own thing. But the chat is not backing you up here.
All right, somebody's got to call.
No, Largent says Chris Fowler's wife was one of those ladies on the beach. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Largent knows what you're doing.
Wait, no, this is a huge thing. You guys are just a little too young to remember this. This is a huge, huge thing. Body shaping.
I don't remember.
It was 1988, and it ran forever and ever and ever.
A couple of things we missed. We obviously missed this. I also missed Soul Train. I only know it.
Soul Train's a little older, right?
That's older.
70s was its peak. Okay. Do you remember Solid Gold?
So I'm sorry, that's what I was thinking. I missed Solid Gold.
Oh, right.
I was there for MTV.
MTV killed Solid Gold, didn't it?
No, but the MTV Dance Party Show. What was that called?
The one that was after school?
Yes. Where you just watch people dance.
Oh, I don't know that one. What's the one with Carson Daly?
Oh, that was TRL. Yes. That was very much in my wheelhouse.
That was your wheelhouse. Okay.
No, but there was a show on MTV where you just watched people dance.
The Club MTV?
The Club was, I think, the later version of it. Maybe that was it. Remember Eric Neese? Wasn't he a part of this?
Eric Neese, yeah, who was the first
The original Real World.
Yes, I remember Eric Neese had a show.
Right. They danced, and we sound like idiots. The Grind. Thank you, Samter. MTV's The Grind. Don't you guys remember this?
No, so Club MTV actually was 87 to 92. The Grind took over in 92 to 97.
Thank you. 92 to 97. Yes.
Wait,
that's your wheelhouse right there.
Why was I 9 years old watching 20-year-olds freak dance on MTV?
Look what's happened to you now.
And now here I am wearing my Phil Knight sunglasses on a Friday.
And Eric Neese was he a professional dancer?
No, I think he actually was a workout guy, bringing this thing full circle, but I think he was also on the grind.
And
Do you
he
think
danced
Lamar
a lot.
Jackson was dancing to the grind back in the day?
I mean, that's the only way this segment could end. But Ken Francis was there. We know that. 855-212-4CBS.
They would go to a commercial for the entire body.
Yeah, right. The original prototype.
Yeah. I cannot. I'm really genuinely flummoxed by this. I'm going to go out there and get help. I might even have.
Nobody's here today. They're not going to help you.
So I might go
And
on.
even Ackerman can't save you.
And they don't know your name anyway, so it won't matter.
Ack will definitely know what I'm talking about.
Ackerman was not watching MTV.
No, but ESPN.
Oh, yes. ESPN. He'll probably remember that.
Yeah. God. All right.
Gilad?
I think his name was Gilad. I might be imagining this whole thing. Maybe I dreamed.
You dreamt it.
They would go from hours and hours of workout shows into some competition where there were lumberjacks who were doing things with logs, and then Strongest Man. It was awesome. Maybe
The lumberjack stuff I absolutely remember.
Yeah,
remember
that was
that
a
too.
huge chunk of time on
was
ESPN.
awesome.
I'm
That was
actually
awesome.
really surprised that there weren't more catastrophic injuries with the lumberjack stuff. Because, like, one of those was someone would stand over a log and then have a huge hatchet and have to go, like, just tearing at the log, trying to cut it in half. Like, how did somebody's leg not get chopped off with that? Let alone a finger, something.
Amazing. Well, that's why they're professionals. Don't try it at home.
Yeah. They'd, like, climb up trees and then, like, be sawing branches off.
Okay.
all right.
Well, here's Tony. Thank God.
All right. Tony's in Milwaukee. I didn't even give out the
Yes,
number.
I remember Perloff. Listen, I remember those shows because he had the black guy who, after the weightlifting, the black guy would do all the aerobic stuff. He was pretty fit. I don't remember his name, but
Wait, that sounds like
that was
mentioned-
Billy Blanks.
Billy
Ty Bo.
Blanks.
no, it was another guy. He had hair. Billy Blanks didn't have hair.
Right.
It was a guy who used to do the aerobic. He used to do the what do you call those things when you put it on the floor and you step up to it, step down to
Step
it?
aerobics.
It was. Yeah, he used to do that right after the weightlifting. It was a slim black guy, but they used to try and get him to do the weightlifting all the time, too. So he'd come out and do the weightlifting. But I remember those shows because I wanted to look buff for my new wife because I got married in, like, 89, and I was trying to do that stuff right around that time. So I was watching those ESPN shows. Get buff for the new wife.
Did it work?
No, actually, it didn't work.
Tony, so honest. She married you anyway, though.
But I remember the shows because I gave it a shot for like about 3 weeks straight. I gave it a shot. I didn't do the aerobics, but I did do the weightlifting. I had my own weightlifting, and they would sit down and they do the crunches and everything else. It was a couple of ladies that did it with it. I just don't remember their names. But
one was Kiana Tom.
So funny,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah,
Good job.
Kiana, yeah.
I
But
love.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. That stuff was on from like 8 in the morning to 10 in the to about 10 or 11. I think somewhere around there is when it was on.
Tony, I love that you were trying to get in shape for your new wife, and obviously it worked out because you got married. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just think it's so funny to be like, I'm going to watch a sports channel.
No, it was
So I'm going to work out like in the theme of watching sports. I can see how an executive would get there. It's like, well, it's people who like sports, so let's throw on some workout and see if they like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably their highest rated show. I'm serious. It was huge hit. There were about 20% were working out, and 80% were men at home watching the women work out.
It's like sad state of affairs for you guys. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, we'll get to the phone calls. Coming up later in this hour, we'll talk to the Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie will join us. Coming up next, one big change that could be coming to the NFL. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on this Friday. So glad to have you on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Say thank you to Lamar Jackson today because his entire workout, home gym, or is it home gym or outside gym? What do you even call this?
Well, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, you can take it anywhere.
Roll it anywhere.
His rolling gym has reminded me of the ESPN workout shows that Maggie was too young for and never saw. This was a gigantic part of what ESPN did. It was, I say, 25% of their programming until the mid-90s was exercise routines.
We were just watching some. Perloff was showing me some YouTube clips of this. I mean, it's like we thought the movie Air about Michael Jordan and Nike was an 80s nostalgia bomb. Watching these videos is like the 80s manifested.
The one I showed, the one I showed you was 94. That is such a 90s graphic.
It looked 80s to me.
Looked like, what's that show with Zach? Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell, yeah.
Which is 90s. Anyway, Dan Patrick, he's always made fun of these shows because at ESPN,
it was his lead-in.
It was his lead-in. It was the funny thing. You know the shake weight commercial?
Yes.
It has a vibe, like they all had a vibe.
Innuendo.
Like there was so much innuendo, and it was like, am I watching an exercise show, or is this supposed to be sort of a late night show? What's going on here?
Well, Ken Francis has his way. It's a little bit of both. Ken Francis is obviously Lamar Jackson's business partner, who now teams have been warned, do not negotiate with this Florida man because he's not certified by the NFL Players Association. John is in Indiana. You can always give us a call, 855-212-4CBS. John, what's up, sir?
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing good.
Yeah, so I remember what Perloff's talking about. You know, I was a preteen. I definitely was probably not working out when I was young.
Well, you think about it also, John, in your defense, preteen John in Indiana, it's not like today where you got the internet at your hands, you can watch anything under the sun. Like back then, you really had to use your imagination, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or you'd try and steal a cable signal, and beneath the snowy static, you're like, wait. Is that a body part I see? I don't know what it is.
Guys, it's such a lame existence. I really feel for you guys.
Being a 12-year-old male, you have no idea.
1991.
Oh, yeah. It was
What'd you
really
say,
hard.
Samter?
It was just so worth it. If you happen to glimpse that one body part, you're like, oh my, it was jackpot. It was the greatest day of your week.
Who's the comedian who has the great thing about nowadays how like young men are so spoiled because you can like basically find porn, anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's the person who gives it a thumbs down? Like how you can thumbs down videos on YouTube. Like you have no idea how lucky you are.
No, absolutely.
How can you never give it a thumbs down?
I think Mike has a good point. I think the struggle to find said material made it all the more satisfying. That sounds weird.
Yeah,
but I think
it was the hunt, the chase.
The chase was part of the interesting thing. Anyway, let's
you want to dive a little deeper on that
topic? Yes.
There's a comment on society that I'm not going to make right now. Everything at your fingertips. Now we're all depressed. All right, let's go to Paul, who's in Myrtle Beach. What's up, Paul?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I definitely remember what Andrew is talking about.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch it for exercise?
No, definitely was not working out to them. I was looking for sports scores and came across this.
And then never left.
But that's right. Well, never left ESPN. You're right.
Yeah, right.
But listen, I'm sorry, the four-letter network for you guys.
That's fine.
But Denise Austin, she was one that was on there all the time. Bodies by Jake, he was the one that did the step up and all that good stuff.
Body by Jake, good pull, Paul. I remember that, Body by Jake.
Was that on ESPN, Body by Jake? Because I remember that well, too.
I believe it was. He was always out there on the beach, stepping up on the stairs and all that stuff.
That's when step aerobics was, like, very masculine. Yeah,
Chris. I have trouble getting up a set of stairs now.
Paul, appreciate the call there. Denise Austin became like a mogul. I mean, Tracy Austin,
the tennis player?
No. Oh, there was another Tracy. The chat had it, youtube.com/CBS
Why do I know
Sports
that?
Radio.
I
Denise Austin was like a workout, like mogul, like Jane Fonda. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the name sounds really familiar. I don't know her. Tracy Austin was almost definitely the tennis champion.
Yeah, Tracy Austin was the tennis player.
I remember Tony Little with the ponytail.
Okay.
Oh, he had the bike, the Gazelle that you ride. Body by Jake also had a very famous cameo in Coming to America.
No.
Yes.
Jake got into Coming to America?
Yes. When Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall get land at JFK Airport, and they're like, take us to Queens, remember? And they come outside, and Body by Jake basically like curses them out.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm on Body by Jake's Instagram right now because he's still around.
How's he doing?
31,000 followers.
Not
he's
bad.
Still doing Body by Jake. Yeah, he looks good. Thank God, because it would have been really depressing if Body by Jake had let himself go.
He can't. Imagine the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to be in good shape. Ron is in Oregon. Ron, what's up?
Hey, I just want to say you guys just brought back some incredible junior high and high school memories. There was nothing better than coming home after the game or going to your buddy's house after the game, and you're all sitting around and you're watching. You have to, first of all, you have to endure this guy talk about rumbling, stumbling, bumbling to get through a broadcast, and the other dude with the really nice hair. And once you got through those guys and got all your sports scores, then came on the highlights, and it was, as your last caller just said, Denise Austin, which I may still have a love affair with, Body by Jake, which we were always pissed because he came on. Sometimes they put Body by Jake on when it should have been Denise Austin. And then you had the Jane Fonda kind of 80s flash dance, and it's just this subdued music with these girls working out. And that was the prelude to going to, like, at 1 o'clock in the morning, if we're all still awake, switching to Cinemax and watching the fuzzy screen. And then if you got that shot, everybody was super excited except for the one buddy of yours who didn't see it. And you're like, oh, you suck. You didn't get to see it. But we all saw that one glimpse of a shot. Good time.
Ron, that was told in impressive and exquisite detail. Thank you so much.
And Ron, I'm going to tell you, I think that is very describing universal experiences. I don't think Ron was alone sitting around watching Body by Jake.
It's like everyone just disappointed when it's Body by Jake.
No,
like,
but Jake,
get off the TV.
I think Jake always had two models behind him.
Oh, so you just had to
ignore
Jake.
You had to focus out Jake. But sitting to our left is the big test.
I know.
I also don't remember watching the Cinemax fuzzy screen with friends. That didn't seem like a community event. That was a sitting alone in my room, about to go to bed kind of event.
Hoping and praying. I never understood that with you guys. Rich Ackerman.
Hello.
Workout shows on ESPN.
The Denise Austin, Kiana. What was the
Kiana Tom?
Yes, I don't remember the name of that show.
But I was telling Maggie, she's too young, that they used to eat up tons of hours on ESPN.
It was like all morning.
Yeah.
It was like 8 till noon.
Isn't that bizarre when you think about it?
Meanwhile, nobody lost a pound. Funny as it was.
I was mentioning that a lot of men did not exercise to the show in the traditional exercise fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
Might have gotten your heart rate up, but you weren't exercising.
Okay.
Maybe the only thing you were doing was working with the remote control, making it brighter or not as bright.
What was the name of the show, Samter? You said in my ear?
Flex appeal. Pardon me, I have a salad in my mouth. Flex appeal.
Flex appeal?
And Chris Fowler's wife was like one of the sidekicks on Flex Appeal. Was she not?
Yes.
Yeah, we got that from the chat.
And by the way, Chris Fowler is in incredible shape. I think he watches old tapes of his wife.
Maybe he's been doing step aerobics this whole time.
I think he has. He does not have an ounce of body fat.
He used to go to my gym. He worked out.
How about
is that
this?
what it was?
If you and I say we were trying to lose weight, if you think that if we did a diet where we only exclusively could exercise to these 80s and early 90s workouts, do you think we'd lose weight?
I think so. I mean, listen, it's an earlier version of the Peloton craze.
No, Peloton's like spinning. That's biking. This is just step aerobics.
But basically, Body by Jake was the old school, what's his name, Alan Toussaint. You basically got a relationship going with the trainer. Yeah, I think you could stay at home and do a half-hour workout.
Nobody was working out watching it.
No.
They were watching it, but they weren't working out.
All right.
I don't think there's one person who's lost 1 ounce doing step aerobics. Like, it was just there to watch the women step up and kick and squat and all that stuff. Like, not one single pound was
I think
lost
if you go
in all of the 80s.
If you go to an actual gym that is having a step aerobics class, then you're forced to actually do the workout. I think that would be good for you. Are you saying the actual exercise is not good, or that no one did it at home?
I don't think any cardio is happening.
I think if you
the home workouts, no chance.
The home workout, no. Well, I don't know. I hear all these people have these home workouts these days, and there's YouTube videos.
Yeah,
where
I have one of those. It's an app. It shows how to work out.
You have to stay in a squat for like 10 minutes or stuff like that. It sounds really hard.
The secret to all of this, you just can't eat crap. That's the part that always kills us. Can't eat whatever you want. It's such a bummer. Well, I hope our next guest was not listening to the last 2 segments of the show. Lisa Leslie is a Hall of Famer, and she's an incredibly classy person.
She's probably watched these shows. She's a huge sports fan. Well, we
We'll
won't
ask
ask.
her. I don't know.
Nah, maybe we won't.
Yeah, we'll talk about basketball. So Lisa Leslie is a Basketball Hall of Famer. She's going to join us next. Coming up later in the show, Tom Izzo had some interesting comments after losing to Kansas State and Cinderella darling Marquise Noel last night. But was it sour grapes? We'll get to all that. Here's the latest CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
On the road to Houston continues tonight with 4 more games, including the Cougars from the University of Houston, who will face Miami. Another number 1 seed looks to move another step closer. Alabama has looked impressive through its first 2 games, and the Crimson Tide face San Diego State, with the Aztecs making their first Week 16 appearance since 2014. Princeton tries to match St. Peter's Cinderella story from a year ago. The Tigers have won 2 games as the 15th seed and take on Creighton. Head coach Mitch Henderson told CBS Sports Radio's Bill Ryder they're going to enjoy the ride.
We know that when we go to Louisville, our fans, we have an incredible alumni support. We know our fans are going to be there in full force, and I know Creighton's a really good team, but what's there to lose? Where's the fear? You know, we're making everybody proud. Like, keep digging in on that and just play loose, and I think you're supposed to play the game that way.
Xavier and Texas conclude the night. The Longhorns had a terrific season. They were not deterred following the midseason dismissal of head coach Chris Beard. The Grizzlies look to extend their winning streak to 5 tonight when they host the Rockets. The Carolina Panthers have reportedly signed receiver DJ Chark to a 1-year deal. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
'You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's time to Ask the Pros, where you can ask us a question. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply check out the link, cbssportsradio.com/ask the pros, or tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Listening to Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio across the country, our incredible affiliates. You're also watching the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Yes, I have brought back the Phil Knight sunglasses today.
Looking cool.
Thank you. Felt like a Friday kind of vibe. Let's get to our first guest of the day, shall we, Perloff? And this is a woman who is already a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame. She's also a two-time WNBA champion. She is a two-time WNBA Finals MVP, 8-time WNBA All-Star, 4-time gold medalist. If I kept going and listed all of her accolades, we'd have no time for the interview. Lisa Leslie joining us on behalf of DraftKings Sportsbook. Lisa, it's Maggie and Perloff in New York. How are you?
Hi, Maggie. I'm doing great. I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, imagine you got to be watching the tournament right now. In terms of, like, for Marquise Noel from Kansas State, where does he rank for you in terms of Cinderella darlings?
Oh, my God. I mean, I think he just took the number one spot. And maybe it's just because you know how we are. It's like we have short-term memory, so all we can remember is the last thing we saw. But that was a phenomenal performance. I mean, I'm not sure if I was even more impressed with the 19 assists and or the shot after he twisted his ankle the first time, and then the steal, and then the three-pointer off the glass. Like, I don't know. That's like, it was like he had a cape, and he was really being like Superman. Seriously, it was awesome.
Lisa, another action last night. You probably have mixed feelings about UCLA, but I couldn't believe what happened at the end of the Gonzaga-UCLA game. But Gonzaga was only down 1 point. I was screaming at the television, get it into Drew Timme, get it into Drew Timme. Was that the smart play to have Julian Strawther take a long three-pointer?
Well, here's the thing. Timmy's free throws were not strong. Like, I think he was less than 70% on normal in the regular season. And he did miss 2 free throws. So I think, those free throws down the stretch were crucial. So I think at that time, it's kind of like you get a little gun shy because you know your team and your teammates. And, like, in those moments, you got to have the ball in the right person's hands. Did anybody think that he would shoot that ball from that far out? No, that's why they went under that screen, which was crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know the play that they drew up. That was so crazy. But it's also March Madness and the reason for them not to pick up. I was surprised they didn't pick up sooner because, remember, they kind of rolled the ball in a little bit? Like, the ball rolled before he picked it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, why aren't they up there? Like, because you don't want time, right? They're rolling the ball. He's touching it late so that the clock doesn't start, right? So I was thinking then, like, they should have some defense, like, up.
Yeah.
In the back. And so he just came across. It was a crazy game. It was an awesome finish. But wow, that was just the nail in the coffin for sure. It was a great game, though. And, I mean, again, you look at the time and you think UCLA has it, and then they don't.
I know. Missed the running three-point attempt. Lisa Leslie, the Hall of Famer, is joining us on behalf of DraftKings. The DraftKings Sportsbook is now offering action on both the men's and women's NCAA games. Perloff and I were disagreeing. Perloff thinks that Caitlin Clark is, how did you put it?
Well, I think she's one of the biggest.
You said the face of women's college basketball.
I think she is. I mean, she plays tonight at 7:30. If Iowa wins, she is a big story. There was a gigantic feature in the New York Times on her today. LeBron tweets about her. I think Caitlin Clark is a big star.
Okay.
Lisa, what do you think?
I would agree with you. But for the reasons of, she kind of checks all the boxes that we haven't really seen before in a while. A female that can shoot with the range that she shoots from consistently. There's a player that you guys probably don't even know of, but Ruthie Bolton was probably the only player that I knew that could shoot from that distance consistently. And, like, if you'd ask Ruthie, like, where was her range? And she was like, I have an unlimited range. Like, she crossed half court and hit shots like that. That was years ago. Caitlin has the ability. It's a lot of things. It's her range. It's her passing ability. It's the speed she plays at. It's her swagger, right? So we haven't quite seen all of that in the package, but I think the distance is what does it for her and for me, or I'm like, wow, like, this chick is really, I mean, she is shooting that ball at such an awesome percentage that she's great. And I think that she puts you in the mindset of a Splash Brother, right? Like, you can see Steph and Clay who shoot the ball just at a distance and so accurately, and she's up there. And not that we haven't seen any women shoot. I mean, we all have shot very high percentages and shoot very well from all over the floor. Diana Taurasi, Cheryl Swoops shot long-distance threes consistently. But I think Swoops shot long distance. Swoops probably was a much better defender and obviously taller in different positions, but she definitely is a star. To answer all of that, I think she's a star for sure.
Is this a Steph Curry effect that has sort of changed the way people play basketball? Say, when you were younger, I don't remember, and when I was younger, I don't remember people pulling up from the logo or anything near that.
Absolutely. I mean, Steph Curry has changed the game in a way that, in some ways, it's amazing, and in other ways, it's like, are you serious right now? Because, back when we played, nobody's pulling up for a jumper when there's a 3-on-1 break. It's like you pull up for a jumper, and you're going to come sit on the bench. Like, nobody's pulling up. But now, oh, my God, like, it's so, I mean, teams drive, pass up a layup, and kick it out for a three-pointer. Like, coach is like, you know what, blow the whistle, come sit down next to me. Like, you make the layup. So it's just changed, but it's changed in a way where, hey, these kids, both the men and women's tournament, they are shooting the ball phenomenally. Like, this might be the first time I can ever remember that it's blurred lines. When you look at the men's tournament and the women's tournament, I don't know that you see anything different happening. Like, the level of play, the amount of shots, the amount of drama, like, I love it. I've been glued. I mean, literally, like, I have alarms set for all the games, for men and women, both. I've never watched this much basketball and been so, like, I cannot wait until, Saturday for the women's. I couldn't wait till last night. Like, I'm like, don't bother me. I'm up watching every game. I don't know if everybody's insane like this, or is this just timing, but it's been great.
Lisa Leslie, the Hall of Famer, is joining us on behalf of DraftKings. The DraftKings Sportsbook is now offering action on both the men's and women's NCAA games. Lisa, we know you're close, obviously, of course, to the Sparks organization, but to the Lakers as well. Does LeBron need to come back during the regular season to give the Lakers, like, any hopes of a run?
Well, Maggie, here's the deal. before we switch over to the NBA, let me just say first, I'm here and I'm very excited because I'm here on behalf of DraftKings, and I just wanted to add, because you just kind of gave them a plug, but I do want to say the reason why is because they are really sponsoring and putting their money, their money where their mouths are. And when I say sponsoring women, DraftKings has launched a women's tournament bracket pool. And do you know that for every entry, DraftKings donated $1 up to $25,000 to the Women's Sports Foundation? And here's the kicker. There were, this year, 49,000 plus people who entered these brackets. And when you talk about really changing the game and getting more eyes on our game and growing our game, DraftKings is doing that. So I'm really excited to be partnering with them and bringing awareness to, you can go bet for games, bet responsibly, have fun. But it's been a parody of both of these tournaments that has really been so exciting and fun to watch. Now, let me talk about the Lakers, because, that's another piece of my heart that you're talking about. Wow. LeBron is a phenomenon, and he can come and play as long as he wants to play, just like Kobe. You play until you say you're done. And he has carte blanche to do that because he's earned that. We would love to have him return and have a playoff push that could possibly happen still. Maybe, no, maybe. I don't know. It's like friggin' 15 teams all tied for, last place. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so jumbled up. Lisa Leslie is our guest. I mean, if you put your fandom aside for a second and the love of the Lakers organization for a moment, who do you think is the most talented team in the West?
Wow, in the West, the West is so tough because you can never count on the Golden State. I don't care what their record is. Draymond Green is such a game changer out there, and I know people don't give him a lot of credit, or maybe they do, but they should. He's such a smart player and just changes the outcome of a game with his screens, with his passing, with his rebounding, with all of these pieces. So Golden State's amazing. The Clippers, is this the Clippers' year? I'm not really sure, but it looks like they finally found a way to get Russell Westbrook amazingly involved. He's doing a great job of creating tempo and pushing the ball. You still have Jokic MVP, and is this his year? I mean, he's won the MVP award, but can he get his team over the top? I really don't know. And then you look at the team that has been playing really tough, which is Phoenix, right? Phoenix has all the pieces, and when you look at KD, if we can, if they can get KD out on the court to get some games under his belt consistently and really build that team chemistry, heck, the sky's the limit for the Suns. So that was a long answer to I have no idea who's going to win, who's going to come out of the West, but you got to be careful. Golden State and Phoenix, that would be a heck of a matchup in the Western Conference Finals.
Lisa, last question for me. What do you think of the new WNBA minority owner, Tom Brady? Are you excited about this?
You know what? I'm very excited, but I honestly wish she would have picked any other team than Vegas. Does Vegas not have enough money already to support? But, hey, listen, we're always happy to have anybody that comes out and supports our league. But I would have loved for him to have supported the New York team or even the Suns, the Connecticut Suns, a little bit closer to Boston or whatever. Hey, listen, we're always happy for the support. I just wish you would have picked just a different team. That's just my opinion, of course.
Lisa, last one for me, and it's going back to the Warriors quickly. We have about a minute left. How do you explain a veteran team like the Warriors having such a terrible road record this year?
Yeah, that's been tough. When I had a chance to go on the shot with LeBron and Draymond and all those guys and talking, I just think that sometimes they've won so much that it gets tough for them to really get up and be ready to play every single game. And they're taking games off and they're kind of resting. They know if they can have a good winning record at home that you can make it into the playoffs. I think it's a lot of games. And when you've won championships, think about this. When you won championships, you play all the way into the end of June. Their time's limited. As they get older And as everybody gets, a few more are getting married, you add kids to the equation. It's not easy to stay on top, but I believe that they have the recipe and the pieces to win another championship. And so I don't know if this was like the cruise control or not, but it definitely was not the young Warriors, of the past. And guess what? Hey, if they don't win it, I believe they'll probably start to ask, is this the time to kind of blow up that team too?
Interesting. Lisa, we're flat out of time. Lisa Leslie, the Hall of Famer, on behalf of DraftKings. Enjoy the rest of both tournaments, the men's and the women's, Lisa, and the NBA playoffs. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. Lisa Leslie, how about it? All right, Kansas State, the darlings of the tournament after beating Michigan State, but was Tom Izzo's sour grapes afterwards. We'll get to it.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Treadmill is a go. I'm having some issues with the desk, but I walked for 7 glorious minutes, which doesn't bode well for Perloff saying I'm never going to use this treadmill.
The treadmill will never work. How could you possibly enjoy the football games when you're on a treadmill, Maggie?
I was walking at a high speed. I was checking out the levels, but I'm not going to sit on my butt for 12 hours straight.
You are going to sit on your butt for 12 hours straight. Cut to week 7. You're just going to be sitting there. There's going to be nacho cheese dripping down your face, and
They'll be eating the nachos on the
balancing the nachos on your stomach as we do on the couch. You'll be like, oh yeah, there's the treadmill. I forgot about that thing 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
By the time Dak Prescott gets back on the field, there will be shirts hanging on that treadmill. No exercise will be done on it. I guarantee you.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? Welcome to the show. Maggie and Perloff hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. We're also streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Film light glasses are a go for me again today. Get into that in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Why I'm wearing these ridiculous glasses today, but Perloff is not.
You might want to stay tuned for that one. We'll get into it.
Okay, so last night, 2 incredible Sweet 16 games.
Yeah.
Kansas State, Michigan State goes to overtime with Kansas State and darling of the tournament, Marquise Noel, who's from New York City and then had a career high and broke a record for a tournament with 19 assists. He's 5'8". He was barely recruited out of high school, went to 3 different high schools, barely recruited out of high school in New York, and then has this moment, an all-time moment at Madison Square Garden. So he's darling of the tournament. And then later on that night, the nightcap, UCLA and Gonzaga, who always play incredible games, were just amazing. Can we listen to a little bit, Stu? Let's listen to a little of Gonzaga and how that game ended.
It's 11 seconds. Pitch it back, Strother. Deep 3 from the top of the key. Got it! Oh, he hit it! Strother from the top. 7 seconds left. Campbell on the run. Into the front court. Drives the right side. Stripped away. Strother's got it. Fouled with 1.1 to go. The Vegas native pulls up from deep and puts Gonzaga in the lead and then gets a steal at the other end. Strother walking, staring into the crowd.
So same for Strother, having a moment in his hometown with this incredible three-pointer. It should be mandatory that Gonzaga and UCLA have to be in the tournament every year.
This is crazy. You could feel that close game coming. Gonzaga went up by 10 in the second half, right? Because UCLA is injured and ran out of steam. I was so happy that game got close and gave us another ending. You need these in the tournament, right, Maggie? You need those long Chris Jenkins style three-pointers.
Yeah, that was beautiful. They're calling it the Jay Wright play, right?
Yeah.
Which is the handoff basically at the top of the key from deep.
By the way, we should also
on the break. Yeah,
I love the fact that Florida Atlantic gets to the Elite Eight, and we're like, that's not even one of the
stories. It was a snooze of a game.
It is amazing. A small school like Florida Atlantic, and you watch them play, and they don't look like a Cinderella at all.
No, they hit shots from everywhere.
Yeah, and UConn we give some credit to. But the funny thing is, Florida Atlantic, was that the team? No, that was Florida Gulf Coast. But Florida Atlantic making the Final Eight should be the story of the day, and it was not at all.
No, but because these games were so compelling. Let's listen now to Marquise Noel. This was basically, this will be the highlight that will live on forever. It was the alley-oop.
And now with a minute to play, Kansas State has the ball. We're tied at 92.
Marquise Noel
throws to the rim for Johnson, who slams it in. Noel ties the record with his 18th assist. Johnson with the alley-oop slam, and it's 94-92 K-State.
all these highlights courtesy of the Westwood One Sports NCAA radio network, of course. And that was an incredible moment. Now, after the game, there were two things that came out of this. During that alley-oop, or moments before, as Marquise Noel is bringing the ball up the floor, he's like arguing with his head coach, Jerome Tang, and then hits the alley-oop, the backdoor, no-look, basically, alley-oop to Keontae Johnson. So the question was the arguing actually a fake just to get Michigan State off their game?
On the reverse alley-oop play, is that a fake play call you guys are doing between each other? What's going on there?
We'll start with Marquise.
Tell them, because then the next team will know. I mean, it was just a basketball play between me and Keontae.
I mean, I thought when I watched it, I thought that it was a hoax. Like, this was part of, lulling Michigan State, like giving them like a distraction. Hey, look over here. Me and my coach are like gesturing like angrily towards each other. Just for that split second, then Keontae Johnson was able to drive the baseline for the backdoor alley-oop.
That would be so awesome and devious. I kind of buy his explanation. I think he just saw him. I mean, can we also say it's incredible that Keontae Johnson decided that he was going to take that alley-oop and go reverse jam?
It was amazing.
At that point of the game, I would have gone conservative. Like, I don't know what you were supposed to do, but to do that highlight dunk at that moment was insane. No, I watched it in slow-mo a few times this morning. I don't think that this was a fake. This was all planned. I think he saw him out of the corner of his eye. I mean, listen, some guys like me and Marquise, we have this sixth sense.
Oh yes, you and him.
And LeBron.
You all share that.
Yeah, we have this sixth sense where we can see out of the corner of our eye. Do you think it was a fake still?
Do you remember earlier in the tournament, now I'm forgetting who it was, the team that lined up the football play?
TCU did it a lot.
Yes, yeah.
And then at the end of the game, I think Fairleigh Dickinson did it.
Right. It was all five guys, basically.
Yeah, it's a new play.
Yeah, out of bounds, and then, you're not sure what's going to happen and who the ball's going to, whatever. Yeah. Because of that, I was like, man, just teams are getting smarter. You have to be playing mind games out there. Like, if you're just playing regular basketball, that's not enough. You need something that's going to give you an edge. And I thought, if Kansas State really did think this up, this fake fight with the coach on the sideline to lull Michigan State to sleep, it's a thing of genius. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it never happened. It didn't happen. No, you're right. It would be, it's a bit of a hypothetical. I don't think that's possible. If they come back, if the book comes out 10 years from now and they plan this, I'll be so impressed. By the way, Marquise Noel was taking some bad shots. Can we just say this?
It was weird because he's having the tournament of his life, right? And he's a feel-good story, and seems like amazing kid and a young man and incredible to root for, right? Yet at the same time, every time he pulled up from the logo, I was like, oh, terrible shot. You had 20 seconds left in the shot clock, just bad shot.
Yeah, and they got a huge break because somebody tipped barely tipped the ball. They got the ball back and hit that shot that I thought was a
very lucky break.
Yeah. I mean, this tournament is going to be this way. There's going to be a lot of close games. Is there a favorite right now?
Wait, but let's pause on that for a second, because we were talking about Kansas State got a lucky break.
Yeah.
So on that particular three-pointer, because they got the ball back. After the game, Tom Izzo, obviously on the losing side of this, was talking to CBS and Allie LaForce.
Give them credit, but I mean, they banked in 2 shot clock threes. And they made some big plays, but some of those plays weren't big plays. They were lucky plays. And I didn't think we played our best. I think some of it was them. I think some of it was us. But, boy, we bounced back in that second half.
So it's funny because you and I just said they took some bad shots, right? We're acknowledging that Kansas State took some bad shots. But something about Tom Izzo, who's on the losing side, saying they got lucky on some of those shots, comes across Perloff a bit like sour grapes. It's the one thing you can't say after you got beat.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it sounds okay. Maybe I should listen to the whole Izzo press conference. Did he also say a bunch of nice things about Kansas State?
Of course,
yeah. It does sound like grumpy Tom Izzo. I don't know. For some reason, he just lost an NCAA tournament game. I'm giving him a total pass.
I am too, but he's been doing this long enough. And unfortunately, he's had the highest of the highs with the wins that he's had, but he's also had the low of the lows. He understands what's going on right now. right? It's not like he's a student there. He's a coach who's been through these highs and lows. He kind of knows what to say. He knows that if he says they got lucky on a lot of those shots, it's going to come across.
As petty, but I don't think it's going to cost them all. I mean, I think that it was a good run for Michigan State. They were not a great team this year. I think they had to sort of fight their way back into this thing. I don't know. I gave everybody a break after a loss, including a coach. You think that we're going to remember this as a negative for Tom Izzo?
No. It'd be funny if Kansas State goes on and wins the whole thing, though. Maybe then we remember it a little more.
Yeah. Well, I always wonder that. If the team that beat you, do you want them to win the whole thing, or do you root against them?
No, I always want the team that beats me to win the whole thing.
Right. And then Tom Izzo could say, well, we were right there. We were the second best team in the country.
Right. I don't want the team that beats me to then get blown out the next round.
Oh,
because then you're like, we should have never lost.
On the favorite question, by the way, guess who's moving way, way, way up the ranks on DraftKings?
Gonzaga.
UConn is close.
I can understand
why. They're third now behind Alabama and Houston, but they are right behind them. I was wondering, I'm looking at my bracket and saying, gosh, I kind of wish I had picked UConn because I know they fell behind against Iona, right? And I think they were behind.
That was the opening round game.
Yeah, and they were behind in the first half of their second game, too. But I keep watching. What I watched last night seems to me like, man, this team looks like a favorite.
And UConn is no stranger to this, right? They've gone on sort of, at some points, kind of out of nowhere runs with like Shabazz Napier. Obviously, Kemba Walker was an incredible run as well.
But this particular team doesn't have a single player on its roster who's ever won a tournament game. It's been a little dry. They're really inexperienced, but they don't seem afraid at all. Yeah, of course, this is bracket fear of missing out because there were a bunch of experts who picked UConn, and I almost did it, and I didn't.
And now you're regretting it.
Yeah.
So where were you watching the games last night?
So I was for the early games, I was at a gala. Yeah, I'll say it, gala, an event, a fundraiser for my daughter's middle school. And
does it need to be a gala for a middle school event?
Yeah, it was a gala.
How do you go up from there? It's like setting the bar very high for a middle school kid.
Well, right before, I was a little nervous, remember, at the end of the yesterday's show?
All of a sudden, you just like ran out of here. I'm like, where did Perloff go? And you sent me a text. You're like, I didn't know I had to wear a suit to this thing.
So my wife goes, it's a gala. You don't have to wear a tuxedo, but at least wear a suit.
You were gone. You were Marquise Noel to the hoop, like speed.
So of the 200 or so people there, guess how many people were wearing suits?
All of them?
One.
Oh.
Andrew Perloff, your co-host.
Wait a minute. I thought it was a gala.
I thought so, too. I keep calling it a gala. Everybody else was wearing sport coats or nothing. I was the only one. I was wearing...
That's weird.
For middle school.
No, I mean just a sweater and jeans. I was the only person in a suit with a tie. There were a couple dudes who were wearing suit, no tie. So halfway in, I took out my tie. So you hear the word gala. It was called the Mark Twain Intermediate School Gala.
Well, also, there is one thing people always say, like an etiquette thing. You never want to be the most dressed up person at the party.
I thought it was you don't want to be underdressed. I thought you could never overdress. I thought that was the saying.
No, it's the opposite. You never want to be the person who's there in a tuxedo when everyone else is wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think the common wisdom is the opposite way. I think you're supposed to be overdressed. It's good. James Bond would be overdressed. He would be.
Well, this isn't a movie. This is real
life. You guys know these, hey? Aren't you supposed to go overdressed in air?
I'm telling you, no. I mean, my parents were in the catering business for 30 years. I'm telling you, the one thing you don't want to be is overdressed. Now, you don't want to be like severely underdressed either, but if you're going to err on a slightly underdressed than overdressed. Guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I feel like business casual is always just a safe way to go. But I would, if I had to choose under or over, I'm going overdressed every time. At least you can be like, I'm the best dressed person in the room.
Oh, you want to be a conversation starter?
But not intentionally. It's just, I'd rather be that than the guy wearing like shorts and flip flops when everyone else is wearing.
You don't want to be severely underdressed. Extremes of any kind are going to get you made fun of.
Right. So if I had to do one extreme or the other, I'm definitely going the overdressed extreme. But of course, I think the middle of the road is always just the safest bet.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to go business casual to like a wedding, but maybe.
But here's the thing. I can promise you the next school gala for that class, there will be guys dressed in suits because they saw Perloff and I don't want to be showing up again.
Yeah, you showed him up.
Yeah, I mean, the other etiquette thing was I wasn't even hiding the fact that I was on my phone watching the games, despite these 7th graders doing these artistic performances, like they were singing and a jazz band performed, and then there was a dance routine.
Rough.
And I'm just openly watching and cheering aloud. And then I did
placing live bets on DraftKings.
This probably seemed a little rude, but I didn't even care. There'd be a circle of parents, say there were 4 of us, and they'd all be talking, and I just take out my phone and look at it. And
that's legendary.
Is that rude? And I said, I work in sports. I can't miss this. And they didn't care at all. Dudes, they could care less.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like men wouldn't care anyway.
Volume on or off?
Volume actually was off. It was kind of loud at this party anyway, so I couldn't hear.
I feel like that's fair. If you have the phone out and you're kind of glancing at it, if you're just staring at it, I'm not even looking at them, different. If you're glancing while you're talking and the volume is off, that's fine.
Why didn't you put it? You could have put an AirPod.
I didn't have it. No, I know. I could have. That's helpful now.
I mean, that's kind of rude.
But also, there's so many commercials in these games that you can look up and hear about, I don't know, some dude's law firm or whatever is going on at this event. Right. That's the other thing, too, is I did sometimes guys were talking and I would look down at the phone, even if it was a commercial, and pretend so I didn't have to listen to them.
Like, oh, Lily again. I wonder what she's peddling.
A lot of bro hugs and cheek-to-cheek kisses?
No, these were all strangers. I barely know anyone at the thing. There was no bro hugs, except there was one. Okay. Another etiquette thing.
All right. Wow, you're chock full.
The school's principal was there, and my wife has become friendly with her through our kids. I'd never met her.
Probably a good person to know.
School principal, right?
Yeah.
We hugged. I'd never met her, and we hugged, and I felt really awkward about it because we were standing there, and instead of a handshake, somehow it just turned into a hug, and now I feel really weird about it.
Did you initiate the hug?
It was.
Did Sarah hug her?
I think Sarah did hug her.
Okay, well,
but Sarah knows her.
Yeah, maybe, but you're just following your wife's sort of lead there. You're good. You're safe.
Okay.
I think.
We got to get
you
out of
here. Like a brown noser, though.
We need some advice. I think you're supposed to go overdressed, Maggie. I think that is the gentleman's guides I've read say always go overdressed.
If only there was somebody around this afternoon who might be able to give us advice about this.
I know. Listen, I'll tell you. I know what the advice duck would say.
How do you
I've
know
got a direct line to her.
Nobody knows what advice duck is going to say. You can't get into her head.
I'm just telling you what I think she might say. The phones, 855-212-4CBS. Matt's in Virginia, wants to talk about March Madness. What's up, Matt?
Hey, guys. Nice talking to you. I really enjoy your show every day a little more. But let me tell you, Perloff, I can't believe I'm 57 years old. I never used that line. I'm in sports. I have to watch this. That is an absolute gem. That is, man, you get all the praise for that.
Best perk of our job, buddy.
Man, that's the best line ever. I mean, anybody could use that line and just, what? You're in sports, whatever. But you did good. But listen, the tournament's been amazing. I just, something I just want to just touch base on.
Yeah.
That interview with Lisa Leslie, it was such a good interview, and this just goes to show how insanely sick and tired of TNT's same 4 people or Fox's the same 5 people for the last 30 years. Just listen to that interview. I'm like, wow, that was kind of fresh. We all know what Barkley and Kenny's takes are going to be. We all know that. They need fresh faces so bad. Just having her on, I'm like, yeah, that was great. But that was just great. I think this is K-State's year. I really do. But
Matt, this is a hot take. You realize you've got here, right? Like, I think there'd be a national day of mourning. This is not about Lisa Leslie at all. I think there would be a national day of mourning for basketball fans if they broke up inside the NBA with Kenny and Charles and Shaq. I think and EJ, there would be people would be upset.
Please let me mourn because I cannot take them anymore. They're so dull. It's the same. It's like sometimes you watch him, Maggie, and Charles is looking for new things to say.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you cannot, and forget that. And what about Terry Bradshaw and Strahan and Howie, yada, yada, yada? My God, just give us some new kids, new lead. Like, just the great questions you guys presented to Lisa. She comes up and just really nice new takes. It's just the same old TNT's gotten. I don't even watch it.
Interesting, Matt. I'm telling you, and thank you for the phone call and thank you for the compliment, but you have stumbled on a seriously hot take.
Now, is he saying it only for the tournament, or is he talking about NBA stuff too? Because for the tournament,
I think he's talking about inside the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if he's just talking about the tournament, he's got to get in long line because everyone, since the day Charles Barkley started doing the tournament, everyone said, what's going on here?
Yeah, they've gotten better. Some of the critics. He's gotten better than his first couple of years.
You get different people. Obviously, Clark Kellogg then comes into our life, but
Seth Davis.
And now Jay Wright and Candace and Wally.
it's been nothing but an avalanche of criticism since they started doing that. Because Charles openly admitted I haven't watched any of these teams when he started out.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But you're right, Mike. I think he is a little better. He does seem a little more down to earth, or more buttoned up.
I mean, the thing about Charles, I think, which is what you're watching for, right? I think the best things that he does is when something happens and he's just reacting off the cuff. Yeah. You know, that's what you want him there for, because then you never know what he's going to say. As far as like the other studio shows, I mean, Fox is trying to get younger people, and they got Gronkowski, but like Gronkowski in a studio show to me doesn't make sense. Like, why? Speaking of suits, like, why is Gronkowski in a suit? Like, talking about football in a pregame show, that doesn't fit. Gronkowski's got to be out twerking on a boat somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's very odd.
Yeah, it's like square peg round hole.
Yeah, but they make him look very cool because he wears sneakers to go with that suit, so he looks very fresh.
Yeah, that's hip, young Gronkowski. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also think a reality of pregame shows is it's a hard business now because people consume sports differently. Studio shows, I don't think young people watch studio shows as much because they consume.
You need the information.
Yeah,
like Laser
but
and
you
those
get
guys.
Yeah, but you get it. You can get it on Twitter too.
Yeah, I know.
It used to be back Brent Musburger, you're looking live. That was gigantically huge.
Yeah.
And I'm sure ratings-wise, she had to mix it in with entertainment. But they love the old guys. Jimmy Johnson is still sticking around there.
I know. And obviously the CBS show is just perfection.
And Lee Corso, too.
I know. Lee Corso's still on Game Day. Yeah. But they've added some. Like McAfee is now on Game Day.
Well, McAfee's an interesting one. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, he's going to be the next Corso. Yeah. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, our bracket of the worst things ever gets updated. We'll get you set for tonight's Sweet 16 games as well. And someone was having a pro day today. We'll get you all the latest on Will Levis. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. My Villanova Wildcats, of course, the men's side did not make the NCAA tournament. And finally, this year, the women are making up for the usually successful men's side, and they're losing in the Sweet 16, Maggie, right now.
That's all right. You got a lot of ball game left here. Yeah, 8 minutes left against Miami. You're okay. You're within striking distance.
Remember last year I had about 9 teams I was rooting for? All my teams completely flamed out. Colgate lost in the first round.
You were wearing a North Carolina hat by the end.
I know. I actually was looking at that hat the other day. I was like, can I wear it this year? They're not even in the tournament.
That would have given you some credibility that you're wearing a team that didn't even accept an NIT bid.
Saying I don't have any credibility otherwise.
I mean, when you have
as a fan.
like when you have 9 teams, at least if you wore a team that was kind of sucky this year, it would at least make it, lighten the blow.
Well, here's the thing. Do I root for or against Princeton because I'm an Ivy Leaguer? Hello.
We know. We've heard.
But
aren't they a rival of you guys?
They are a rival. Most Ivy Leaguers particularly hate Princeton who didn't go to Princeton.
I think most people particularly hate Princeton.
But it's a 15 seed. Should we be rooting for a Cinderella story?
I mean, it's tough to call Princeton a Cinderella story. I mean, they definitely are for basketball, but in life, people who don't go to Princeton, we don't generally go like, man, what a scrappy underdog that person is. Now, maybe they are. There are some exceptions, but, it's a lot of people who are winning at life, and going to Princeton only opens up even more doors for them.
It definitely felt more Cinderella with Pete Carroll.
That was awesome. Because did they beat Georgetown?
I mean, the ironic thing is that from the very few people I've known who actually have gone to Princeton, they're all incredible people. I mean, Grant Wall, our friend who sadly passed away, Sean Gregory, Ross Tucker, Kyle Brandt, these are all really great people who went to Princeton, but as a whole.
Well, this is it's a ridiculous argument though, because it's not like kids at all these other schools are, not facing a bright future as well. Just because you go to Creighton, you could get a job at Wall Street.
No,
I don't know.
understand that.
Is Princeton the new Duke? Like the elite school that we just hate now because they're
they might need a few more tournament appearances.
Come on, Princeton, Duke, same.
I don't think Mitch and Coach K are wading in the same waters of hate. Yeah, I know. If you go to UCLA, I think doors open for you.
Yeah, I think first of all, if you're this amazing at basketball, doors open for you. I'm not going to feel bad for any of these kids. But I'm actually Googling what most people from Creighton become now. No, I'm just kidding. I
was going to say, what's the big major?
Creighton. Yeah, what's the big major?
Aviary?
Aviary, yeah. Creighton has this big guy. I can't wait to see what Princeton cooks up for him. I mean, I admit I'm into the Tigers.
Yeah, that took you like 2 seconds. You're always bandwagoning.
I'm not. Well, I'm deciding. Do I want to bandwagon to a team that has a better chance to win it all, though? So that's what.
Yeah, that's a definition of a bandwagoner.
I'm weighing in on.
Perfect. That's the bandwagon.
Well, I mean, I worked in Connecticut for a while, so I think the Connecticut Huskies are a natural fit.
Sure.
Who calls them Connecticut Huskies?
Yeah, they're
UConn. Like, I've never called Connecticut.
That's a great point. Yeah, no, I would have to get the jargon down if I were to become a UConn fan.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Connecticut. Let's go. Like, who, what?
I don't know. Gonzaga? That's front runner. I can't do them.
Yeah, but they've never won.
You guys are missing the obvious.
For Mark Few.
The darling of the tournament is K-State.
Yeah,
everyone's
K-State.
rooting for Kansas State.
K-State.
Everyone's rooting for Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson.
But I don't want to be on the same bandwagon as everyone else, Maggie.
That's always what you do.
No. I don't get any street cred for that, though. Last year, I got a lot of street cred for
picking North Carolina.
My North Carolina hat. I had family who grew up in Chapel Hill. I think that was a rightful bandwagon jump by me.
No, but they end up going to the championship game.
Here's the answer. FAU is the key, right? Because Princeton's too low of a seed. Yeah. FAU is not too high. It's right there in the middle. You can go FAU. They can win it, but they're just not,
Go Owls.
Yeah, go Owls.
FAU's a good one.
I mean, listen, college in Boca Raton, Florida, that's got to be interesting.
Yeah, I could get behind that easily. In fact, I would love to go do a visit.
Do they play shuffleboard in between games?
Yeah, eating dinner at 4 o'clock.
That's why they're so successful.
That's the key to their success. They're in bed by 6.
Yeah,
it's like a beautiful thing. Hey, our buddy Nick in Texas, the caretaker of the Pearl Jam Season 2 bracket, is on the line. What's up, Nick?
Hey guys, how are we doing today?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just wanted to give you your weekly update on another update on the brackets for where I am for Pearl Jam Season 2.
Love it. Lay it on us.
Yeah, by the way,
all right,
Nick, I guess I had to tell you, it was a happy night in the Perloff household.
I bet it was. We'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, so currently Perloff has fallen to the 20th. From 12th down to 20th. Maggie has slipped a little bit down to 40th.
That's right.
We do have a big old Mike Samter, who is actually taking the lead over Maggie now at 38.
Samter is celebrating like he just hit the game-winning shot.
I got Duke winning it all. Oh, let's go, baby. I'm winning this.
Ever the optimist, Mike Samter.
And we still got Duke and Bots hanging in there at 34th place. But
there you go, Stu.
The big news Perloff was just telling everybody is, yes, Sarah is no longer last. She's moved up the ranks 5 spots, and her team is still available for the championship. So, yes, things are going well.
Yeah, so Gonzaga, my wife picked Gonzaga to win it all.
Yeah.
It's been her only Final Four team that's alive since the first round. She went all underdogs. And then, so actually we were watching last night. I told her this morning, I said, hey, Gonzaga won last night. And she goes, see, I told you it was all about the Zags. I'm like, you got every other pick wrong.
That is something you would say.
Yeah, she totally flexed over me like she was Dick Vitale or something.
Jay Billis. That's so funny. All right, Nick, any other notables you want to share about the bracket? Where are you in the bracket?
Currently, let's see. I'm actually not doing too bad still, even though my Purdue got knocked out early. I'm currently sitting at 26th place, so I went from 46th to 26th, so I've moved up 20 spots.
Okay, any of the Weedos of the Purple Drinkers, like, in the lead?
None of them are in the lead, but we do have some Weedos that actually are doing very well. And there's a name from last year who's doing very well. We had the Salisbury's couple last year. Christine was leading most of the brackets last year. Well, John, her husband, is up there in the top 10. He's at 8th. And as for the Purple Drinkers, we do have Alex McChristian. He's in 3rd. And then we actually have Jeffrey Howell, who's in the chat, and he's in 12th, and he's got Alabama, so he's still alive.
Wow, this is awesome. Nick, thank you so much for the update.
Yeah, Nick, by the way, you might not know, does anyone have Florida Atlantic alive? I was thinking that's good for everybody because nobody has them, right? So
well, no one would have picked
nobody
them for the
does. John Salisbury has Miami. So he's got a long shot there. Most people have U of H or Alabama, but I don't see anybody that's got FAU. No, nobody that I see.
Okay.
Thanks, Nick.
Crazy. Nick, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. And we'll talk to you again soon, pal. Nick in Texas, who is the caretaker. He's the overseer of the Pearl Jam Season 2, and obviously a Weedos chat legend, Nick in Texas.
Yeah. I have Houston winning it all, and I am very, very nervous about Miami.
Let's get to our bracket of the worst. Time to update everyone. We're moving right along here. We're going to go to the Midwest region. We're going to update some second-round results there. Top-seeded flight cancellations. Again, this is a bracket of things that are just the worst.
The worst.
Number 1 seed is still alive. Flight cancellation beats out political ad season. This was close, though. 12th seeded Wet Socks and Shoes continues the Cinderella story. They upset 4th seeded quarterback injuries. I thought quarterback injuries was going to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people thought, like, well, I'm not a quarterback. What do I care about their injuries? And maybe they misunderstood what we meant.
It just is the worst when quarterbacks get injured. Okay, 6th-seeded wrong takeout order gets delivered to your house. Took out 14th-seeded daylight savings time. And the 2nd seed getting hacked has moved on past 10th-seeded potholes. So if you're looking for the Elite Eight, it's the flight cancellations, number 1 seed up against 12th-seeded Wet Socks and Shoes as our Cinderella, 6th-seeded wrong takeout order taking on 2nd-seeded getting hacked. There you go.
There it is.
That's the Midwest region. We'll do more updates as we go.
I feel like getting hacked is a little too serious for the worst bracket.
That's right up there with
that's a life-altering crime.
Right, wrong takeout
right,
order.
Wet shoes and getting hacked aren't same.
You're right. It's not the same to get into a traffic jam as to getting hacked.
Yeah. Your socks are wet compared to you had to hire a firm to help get your financing back.
Yeah, the stakes are not as high for the Wet Socks and Shoes as, yes.
But
now all of a sudden some, Russian hackers got your social security number.
Yeah, I know. It is definitely the worst. That's one of those things. Oh, that person got hacked. Oh, that's the worst.
It is bad. There might be nothing worse. You're right. It's a little serious.
The worst is when you get like that random Facebook message from a friend that you know clearly isn't right. And you're like, I don't know if this is real or not. And then you get to like message the friend to find out. And then
tell them stop watching porn.
That's exactly it.
Stop watching porn. You just spammed everybody in your contacts. No? Am I wrong?
That's basically it, but you didn't want to say it.
Oh, sorry, everyone. I at one point almost fell for the texting scam. Like, hey, it's your bank. We need your account number. And I was like 2 digits away from this is like 10 years ago. I was like 2 digits away and I was like, what am I doing? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, this happened to me recently. I got a message about some bank fraud and there was something like I called Citibank. Sorry, I'll give you great. I called.
That's all right.
Can I give us your account number too?
I called.
Can we have your mother's maiden name?
I called Chase and said this. And they're like, if this happens, we won't call you anyway.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's a fake.
They never call.
And I noticed something on my cell phone too. When something comes in with all caps, that's a spam call.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make you look at me like, of course. Yeah, it took me a couple tough lessons there.
Considering I'm wearing sunglasses out of the size of a windshield, yet you still felt my judgment.
Sorry, one thing, and actually, I don't even know if we can play this on air. I got a spam voicemail the other day, and the guy called. He called, and he said, "Oh, hey, Andrew, sorry, I think he said my name," and he said, sorry, I missed you. Get back to me here. He pretended that we had just been talking, and we had not been talking. It was about student loan forgiveness. He's like, Andrew, he said, actually, might I say, he said, I'm so sorry I missed you. Call me right back, like that.
I bet he thinks he's thought up like the most brilliant thing.
I don't even know if it's a he or a robot or what was going on, but it was very familiar.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'll play it for you. You'll totally know what I mean.
Is this what the chat GBT is going to start doing? Like the AI, the artificial intelligence? Are they going to start pretending that they're friends of ours to just scam us.
Well, here's the question. Are they like hiring people to hey, here's a script, read it.
Definitely.
And then we're just going to send this note out? And if you're one of those people reading this scam script, are you complicit or are you just getting a paycheck for reading a script?
Yeah.
Tough, right? Because you got to make a living.
Got to make a living.
But it is
But you're reading the script. You clearly know it's BS.
This is the what was that TV show, The Good Place?
Yeah.
And that's what she did. She sold like bunk vitamins to old people or something. The Kristen Bell character.
Yeah, that was great. And the first day she's like, "This doesn't work, right?" And he's like, "No." She's like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Exactly. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. I got the one rumor that I want to believe so badly, but I just can't trust the source. Tell you about that in just a moment, plus an update on Will Levis's Pro Day. Here's the latest CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Last night provided some great moments. 4 more games tonight in the NCAA tournament, which tips off with Alabama, the top seed, against San Diego State before another number 1 seed still remaining takes the floor a few minutes later with Houston facing Miami. FAU moved into the Elite 8 last night, and tonight Princeton looks to continue its terrific run. The Tigers are having their best tournament since the days of Bill Bradley more than 50 years ago and will face Creighton. Xavier meets Texas. The Longhorns 2 wins away from returning to their home state for the Final Four. Rodney Terry has done a terrific job this year, taking over midseason and hoping to continue this run, but standing in the way is a very dangerous Texas Xavier team.
They're a really good offensive team. I mean, they can really push the ball and play in transition. 80 points a game. They're one of the best, 3-point shooting teams in the country. They've got a great cast of guys, and they've had an incredible season as well. So they're going to put a lot of pressure on us to get back and really try to defend and guard a really good offensive team.
Sean Miller has Xavier back in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017. The Eagles have given tackle Lane Johnson a 1-year extension worth $33 million, while the Ravens and Nelson Aguilar reach a deal on a 1-year contract, and the Carolina Panthers add another receiver, DJ Chark, on a 1-year deal. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back to Maggie and Perloff. So I want to believe this NFL rumor that's going around, Perloff. I mean, I really want to believe it.
Which one?
I'll tell you in a sec. But I can't get past the source of the rumor. Please let this be true. I just cannot trust where it's coming from. Here was Pac-Man Jones on the Pat McAfee show talking about destinations for DeAndre Hopkins.
Interest is heating up. There's 5 teams on that list, and we'll start with the Falcons. I think that can fit. Ravens. If Lamar deal goes and get done, my sources tell me that might be a landing spot. Our sources is telling us it's the Bills. My sources tell me Buffalo can work. I like the Raiders too. And I know D as a person, I'm leaning more toward the Bills or the Ravens.
I mean, you can't toy with us like this, Pac-Man. I mean, does he have sources? Does he not? Is that a joke? I mean, listen, Bills fan would really, really love DeAndre Hopkins to come to the Bills, and I just can't trust Pac-Man Jones, though.
Well, the thing is, even he was giving 14.
Well, I know, but then he whittled it down.
I would trust that Pac-Man Jones knows DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. It's like, if it's between the Bills and the Ravens,
yeah.
There's what wide receiver in their right mind would say Ravens over the Bills? First of all, you have no idea who your quarterback is. Mm-hmm. And even if it ends up being Lamar Jackson, would you rather be catching passes from Lamar or Josh Allen?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. I would not lose a second of thought over this because I don't know.
I know. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like the Bills are out here doing all these big moves this offseason. This might be like the most significant one.
Yeah, by the way, so let me just take a step back here. You love the fit Hopkins. Say you had a choice of Beckham and Hopkins. Which way would you go?
Hopkins.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, just, he's definitely... just don't take steroids or don't get caught.
Yeah, you have to work out that contract. He's getting $30 million right now.
Well,
that's a problem. He's also getting old.
A lot of money for a receiver.
listen, it depends on what the compensation is going back. Maybe Arizona's eating a lot of that money. I don't know.
Yeah, as a player, right, that's a really good point. But as a player, DeAndre Hopkins seems like he's more ready to go than Odell. Odell is so much risk. Where DeAndre Hopkins, what's the downside with him?
It can get hurt.
They can get hurt.
Listen, but that's what happens. But the Bills are in an all-in situation right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is where you've got to figure out a way to make the money work or whatever. But, yeah, if Odell's like $2 million, then sure, of course Odell. But if he's going to be, I don't say that cheap, but if he's going to come that cheap, then I think a lot of other teams are going to be in on him, including the New York Jets.
Yeah, the Jets and Beckham.
Absolutely. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is now like the de facto general manager of the Jets, then you're getting Odell.
Ugh.
Let me ask you.
I mean, he was good with the Rams the last time we saw him.
For like 2 games in the playoffs, and during the regular season, he was nothing, and he hasn't had a good year in like 6 years. What has he done? Odell's more of a headache than a benefit. I don't want him.
I mean, he caught touchdown passes in like every game in their playoff run.
He was there for 2 games, then he got hurt in the Super Bowl, and he looked good at the start of the Super Bowl. He had 2 good games. Great. That's fantastic. The Jets' wide receiver room is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think the headache might come from the quarterback room instead of the wide receiver.
The headache of OBJ and Rodgers, come on.
I think they would neutralize each other, and it'd be good.
It
would cancel it out. But back to Buffalo for 1 second, not to break down the Buffalo Bills. DeAndre Hopkins is great, but I never looked at that team and I think there's something else missing. Defense isn't that the bigger concern right now?
Well, if Von Miller had been healthy, let's see how these playoff games go.
And the defensive backfield, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but Tre'Davious White really did end up coming on strong at the end of the season.
I remember he was hurt.
But obviously, DeMar Hamlin, who was playing opposite when he's already a backup, and then he got hurt, and then the Bills were down to Cam Lewis, their third.
Because I think there's a valid team-building philosophy or argument that if you're paying your quarterback $180 million, why do you have to go out there and get him 2 $30 million receivers?
Because you want to win.
But he should make up for that.
Yeah, but
Josh Allen doesn't need DeAndre
he does,
Hopkins.
because the other part, too, is you don't want him running as much.
Wait, somebody else should be running that darn football in Buffalo.
Well, they got Damian Harris from the Patriots, so maybe he'll be. It doesn't matter who. They could have Jim Brown back there. If they don't want to run the ball because they don't call running plays.
I mean, by the way, same argument with the Jets. Why are you going to go pay $60 million for Aaron Rodgers and then go pay a ton for Odell Beckham Jr.?
I don't think it's going to be a ton for Odell.
Yeah.
I don't. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a ton, but I don't think Odell's going to be a ton. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, so Perloff was lamenting that you got a spam call.
Yes.
It sounded very, like you thought you were getting oopsie-dooped even more than normal.
Oh, okay. Right. Now, I gave the sound to Mike. I just want to be careful that my Social Security number or nothing like that is in here.
It is. We bleeped out one of the numbers, so people will not have any idea what's going on.
Oh, good.
It's going to take at least an hour to figure that out. You got a head start.
So this guy got me. I listened to the voicemail, and I was like, oh, this is my buddy just called. Can you play it, Mike?
Hey, this is Jason. Sorry I missed you. I'm giving you a call from the Student Loan Relief Center.
Oh, well, there you go.
Let you know that you are now
Then he gave it up.
Well, I guess sorry I missed you could mean sorry you didn't pick up the phone. But I actually read that. I'm like, wait, did Jason think that I just called him and he's calling me back?
Did you call him back? No.
No, I did not call him back. But the way he said that, hey, it's Jason. Sorry I missed you.
Sorry I missed you.
Yeah,
it is very familiar.
And it sounds like I called him and he couldn't pick up because he was in the car or something. I was like, Jason,
and he didn't
I'm
yell.
sorry, man.
Sorry I missed you.
Yeah.
That sold it. Sorry I missed you.
Yeah, this guy's working hard. Like, I like his approach.
So there's a dude in the sound studio recording that somewhere. Hey, it's Jason. Sorry I missed you.
No, he's like someone who's got the headset on, leaned back in the chair with a squeeze thing in his hand, like calling 1,000 people. He's in a cubicle in the Omaha somewhere.
Definitely has a headset, like the full-on headset with the microphone that comes around the front.
Got to be feet up on the desk.
Play it one more time.
This is Jason. Sorry I missed you.
Yeah.
Does sound like your friend.
Yeah,
Although nobody leaves a voicemail anymore.
There was a level of threat towards the end of it as well. If you don't call back, you'll hear it. I mean, if we play the whole thing, but there was a level of a little bit of a threat towards the end.
Hey, this is Jason. Sorry I missed you. I'm giving you a call from the Student Loan Relief Center to let you know that you are now eligible to cancel up to $20,000 in student loans. And we just need you to give us a call back to verify that you do qualify. Failure to do so before the cutoff could result in your payments automatically resuming.
failure
Yeah.
to do so.
But
Yeah.
also, it's like failure payments. I'm not paying you anything. I don't even know you guys.
I don't have any student loans. What are you talking about?
I know. You haven't been in college since the 90s.
Sometimes there's a warranty call. They'll be like, you have 4 hours or your warranty's going to run out. I'm like, total panic. I'm like, wait, I have 175,000 miles on my Honda. I've been out of warranty for about 3.5 years. What are you talking about? Who are you?
Sorry, I missed you.
It's the urgency. Yeah, like, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong?
Payments will resume.
Oh,
I went into deep panic. What payments?
20,000. Oh gosh, that's a large number.
Because I'll tell you right now, there's about 4 streaming services that I'm paying that I'm totally confused by.
I know. Honestly, if Hulu calls or something, then I'm panicked.
Yeah.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, Tom Brady broke some news. What does it mean for his football future? Get into that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff. Straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
If you go into a normal porta potty, you have about a 1 in 3 chance of it getting turned over and ending up on Instagram.
Everyone's never said that.
That's my nightmare.
All of a sudden, it's like, how did Samter get the bubonic plague? Like, I don't know. It hasn't been around since the Middle Ages.
And we did have a debate about what's worse, but there's nothing worse. The thought of being in a porta potty that turns over.
No, my worst fear is dropping the phone. Just
that's gone.
Sacrifice it. Let it go. It's gone.
No, that is long gone.
And I have the kind of thing where I have my credit cards and stuff like on the back of the phone, and my whole life would be gone. I'm not going in.
What if it was a wedding ring?
Ugh. No, you got to go in for the ring.
No.
I have to.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You've made it. It's Friday. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. It's the end of the week. Tons of basketball on this weekend. Had the Sweet 16 kicking off last night. You get more games tonight. And Perloff, you got pro days galore. Will Levis, the latest to have his pro day in terms of quarterbacks today. And listen, the pro day is like the least important in terms of what they look like throwing. But we've seen before how pro days can elevate guys to places where they quite frankly have no business being. And that's Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson at BYU had this unbelievable pro day. And I don't know if that's what the Jets saw, but they obviously were fooled.
I can't believe that's true. I think Zach Wilson would have gone number 2 anyway, based on he was balling out at BYU, which was bizarre because last year it's a string of amazing pro days. They've all mastered these pro days.
Yeah.
And none of those guys got drafted, unless you think there was a Zach Wilson reaction.
It's possible.
I mean, I think Will Levis, of course he's going to look good in his pro day. I think what will happen is he'll move up in mock drafts. This could be, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think that necessarily means that teams are going to be sold on him. I think he's still probably be the 4th quarterback taken.
Listen, the fact that the Carolina Panthers have traded up all the way to number 1 and are telling people we have no idea who we're going to take. Perloff coined the term yesterday.
Draft slut.
Yep, that's exactly what the Carolina Panthers are. They're meeting with everybody.
They take out every quarterback prospect on the town. Who knows what they're asking for in return?
Yes, just good quarterback play? We have no idea. I always think, and I will maintain, that they traded up to get Bryce Young. I know that C.J. Stroud is now the odds-on favorite, the quarterback from Ohio State. I just don't believe it. I think that they felt like they had to jump Houston because they wanted Bryce Young, and they are one of the teams that is not going to be, dissuade because of his size.
Okay. What about the report from former Panther Thomas Davis that they're infatuated with Anthony Richardson? What do you do with that information?
Who isn't infatuated with Anthony Richardson? Well, I mean, I think everyone is just like mesmerized by the guy's athleticism, but he doesn't have a lot of game film. There's not a lot of tape on him.
I understand this, but Thomas Davis said, watch out. I think the Panthers are going to take Anthony Richardson. And he's presumably close to the program. It's funny, I don't buy anything this season.
Do you buy anything any season? Like every year, there's all this nonsense. Boomer says they want the big quarterback, and then Thomas Davis says they want Anthony Richardson, and then they're hugging this guy and they're going to dinner with that guy. I don't believe any of this.
It's misinformation.
They're drafting Will Anderson.
You have to, You have to figure out why would they feel the necessity to go to one, and I don't think they would feel. They had to necessarily give up what they gave up. DJ Moore, one of their great receivers, their number one receiver, a first-round pick next year that they could definitely use. Why would you feel like you had to go all the way to 1 if it wasn't for Bryce Young? You could go from 9 to 3. Just trade with the Arizona Cardinals if you want Anthony Richardson. You don't have to go all the way to 1, and that's what they did.
I tell you, that's a really great point. But we don't know what happened with Arizona. I mean, they easily could have called Arizona, and Arizona said, give us 2 first-rounders.
Well, I might want to.
9 to 3 might be a 2 first-round situation, too.
Well, I mean, then their new general manager, what's his name? Monty Ossenfort, then he misplayed his hand because...
Well, so far, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, but again, like, you're right. I think that the Will Levises and Anthony Richardsons, they get the combine bump and the pro day bump. But once there's that stretch there where we go back to the game film, those guys just don't have enough of it. Not enough good game film.
Right, but the pro day bump seems more like a mock draft media thing. Teams I think, have a much better idea of what's going on. But, hey, it's interesting talking about the trades. Monty Ossenfort and Dave Ziegler were coworkers for a long time.
Ziegler's with the Raiders.
So the Raiders, maybe it's very possible, maybe Carolina thought the Raiders were going to trade up 3. There's so many moving parts here. I think you're right, Bryce. That's a great argument for Bryce Young. But I have trouble getting over this horse game comment.
The game of horse with C.J. Stroud?
I just think...
And Josh McCown?
Frank Reich and the tall quarterbacks, and I'm a sucker. I saw C.J. Stroud throwing in that workout. I mean, that ball does pop out of his hands.
Yep. Same with Levis, though.
I can convince myself into Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud easily.
While we were watching Will Levis's pro day on NFL Network, we noticed afterwards he sat down for an interview with whoever, some of the people at NFL Network, and he was wearing a cutoff shirt.
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure that he was maintaining a flex during the entire interview.
Yeah.
Like what are they? The tricep?
Tricep.
Yeah. It was like he was flexing throughout the whole interview. That's a dude thing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he does not own a shirt with sleeves at all.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going through his Twitter feed right now. He's totally sleeveless the whole entire time, and he should. Kind of a buff dude.
Yeah, no, those are assets that you want to. If you're a quarterback, you want to look ripped.
Yeah, he's such a confusing guy because he started out as just a pure running quarterback. I don't think they ever let him throw, and now he's got this rocket arm. Man, I don't understand.
How long could you keep your arms flexed, like during a full interview? Could you do that?
You just have to put them in the right position.
Yes.
Did you see also what was the team? A team came out there. I think it was the Panthers. No, I'm sorry. There's a team in the top 5 who said all 4 quarterbacks are basically exactly the same. Oh, it was the Colts.
Yeah, I don't believe that, though. That can't be right.
I think these 4 quarterbacks are so darn close. The fact that you can make valid arguments for almost all of them to go very high.
No, you can make different arguments, but they're all so different, no? I mean, right, Richardson and Will Levis maybe are similar, but C.J. Stroud is a totally different, physical makeup than Bryce Young.
Right, but they're all flawed.
That's true.
They're all non-Trevor Lawrence guys. They're all really good, but they have glaring flaws.
Which I think makes it more exciting for us because we don't know. There's not the slam dunk guy who's going number 1. Again, I think it's Bryce Young, but it's not like we have Trevor Lawrence where we knew Jacksonville was taking him or, Peyton Manning or whatever, We get a little bit more mystery.
Do you think back to when Josh Allen was drafted?
Yeah, I was devastated.
You were devastated.
I thought he was going to be awful.
Wait, who did you want? Because wasn't that Baker 1, Sam Darnold 3?
Yeah.
Josh Allen was the next one, then Josh Rosen, then Lamar.
Yeah.
Who'd you want?
I wanted Darnold.
Oh, okay. But
Off of the Rose Bowl.
They couldn't trade up that high, though, right?
No, and I think they wanted Allen the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, but they started number 12.
Yeah, they did trade up.
Yeah, they were smart. Good thing they didn't listen to you.
Thank goodness they didn't. There's videos of me online where just they take them and I'm like shaking my head. I'm so disappointed. Little did I know, I'd own 50 shirts with his name on the back of them only a few years later.
Do you remember, you were here in New York, do you remember your reaction to the Jets drafting Zach Wilson?
Yeah, people were so excited.
No, I mean, do you remember your reaction?
I never bought in on Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like he to me was the out of nowhere guy.
Like a Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes,
1 year.
it was like, where did this guy, all of a sudden, we didn't talk about him basically at all through the season, yet here he is in the draft, and like the Jets should be running to the podium to turn in their pick. It just never made sense to me.
Yeah, okay, so you're worried about the out of nowhere guy. Interesting, because there are a few of those this year. I mean, you could argue Richardson is that guy this year.
Yeah, but we did sort of know about Richardson. I mean, any quarterback who's in the SEC, we're going to know about. And
yeah, but we definitely knew Zach Wilson through that year.
I know, but he didn't play in like any really big games.
Well, didn't he play in a game where they were undefeated and Coastal Carolina was undefeated?
And they lost.
Yeah, he still looked great in that game.
No, I don't think he played well in that game.
No, I think he threw some dimes in the second half. I remember watching that game and like, ooh, these are two really good quarterbacks.
Right, but then like losing to Coastal Carolina, listen, not all losses are on quarterbacks, but it was just, it felt like he was getting pushed up by the system. That's how it always felt.
Right, I mean.
And he was.
And look at this year.
Guys are getting pushed up by the system, you're right. Although I think Bryce Young, listen, it's different when you're a Heisman winner.
What are you talking about? Heisman?
Quarterback for Alabama, like.
Yeah.
These Alabama quarterbacks now look at like the kind of success. When Tua's healthy, he looks great. Mac Jones had a good college career. Jalen, obviously, before he transferred.
I don't know. I mean, is Bryce Young any better in college than Mac Jones?
No, but see, the thing about Mac Jones is Mac might not be like a great quarterback, but he stepped in his rookie year, and that was a playoff team. Now they got smoked in the playoff game, but it's not like he can't play in the NFL.
Right, but my point is he fell to the teens.
Yeah.
Because everyone said, like, oh, he's not that good. It's all these other incredible players around him.
Well,
but we don't say that about Bryce.
We don't really say that about Bryce, but we do say it about C.J. Stroud. Because
yeah, I know. That's
the Ohio State wide receivers are so good that...
Yeah, that's a glaring flaw
like
with him.
Nobody can tell what an Ohio State quarterback is like because the receivers are always so incredible.
Yeah,
they're almost better than who you might be throwing to in the pros.
And there's a thing also that Urban Meyer offense. It's really hard to evaluate anybody because it's totally different than the NFL. Which, by the way, is definitely a factor this year. People don't know if Hendon Hooker, his offense was unusual in college. Will that translate? We love Hendon Hooker, but this is a Hendon Hooker show.
Yes.
Can we just state that?
I wonder if he sneaks into the back half of the first round.
Yeah.
Like the very end of the first round.
I would think if quarterbacks are going to get overdrafted, he's a guy worth overdrafting.
I would think so, too. Big news from Tom Brady today. Wasn't expecting this one. No, he's not coming back, at least not yet. Tom Brady has become a team owner.
I grew up with 3 older sisters. They were all incredible athletes in their own right. They were role models to me. It's where my love of women's sports began. I tagged along. I was the annoying little brother to all their games, and they were the best athletes in our house, and they're still a great inspiration to me. So I'm ready to contribute in any way possible as a member of such a great organization. What an honor. LFG.
So the Las Vegas Aces, Stu just dropped his head. I know it's corny. We're all gonna have to live with it now forever. Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team in Vegas. Now Tom Brady is a part owner. What do you make of it, Perloff?
Not much. I don't think this prohibits him from coming back because I could be wrong, but I think there's a lot of part owners in sports.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I think buying part of the WNBA probably costs nothing to Tom Brady. I think it's more a publicity thing, right?
Yeah, see, exactly, right? It's a publicity thing. And this is the interesting part when I start thinking about Brady and then start thinking about his divorce, and Giselle has this big Vanity Fair cover where she gives this big in-depth interview about their relationship and what went wrong and all that stuff and why they got divorced. And she basically just says, like, we wanted different things. We were growing apart. And she wants to go off and do her, like, mogul model thing and wellness and stuff like that and live in Costa Rica. And she's like, and he wanted different things. And it's just interesting to me. He's not going into broadcasting right away. So what are these things that Tom Brady wants? We know TB12, obviously, and like the clothing line. But is it to be part owner in all these sports? Like Tom Brady, it seems to me, wants to be as visible as possible in his retirement. Like these are high profile things. You have a company named after you. in TB12. His line of clothing's called Brady. Now to be like an owner of a WNBA team in Las Vegas. I mean, that's a showy sort of front-facing thing. This guy does not want to fade into the background.
Well, is that... Yeah, but none of that's going to matter when he's the lead Fox guy. He's not going to need a part ownership in WNBA to be visible.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised how visible he still wants to be. There's no part of this where it's like, hey, I'm retiring now and I'm just going to go back and live my life as a private person or try to be private. It's the opposite. Like, Brady wants to be out there. And I'm just surprised because, first of all, you've had this level of celebrity that's got to be in some ways kind of exhausting after all these years. Now you're just going through this high-profile divorce. I'm just surprised he wants to be out there this much.
I mean, he took the broadcasting job even before. Were you surprised when that happened?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really see Brady going into broadcasting, especially not like in a traditional way where it's like, all right, here he is in the booth, you know?
Yeah, and then it's probably the first player who's ever taken a full-time broadcasting job while he's still in uniform.
Yeah, I know. That was
Boomer might have, actually.
I think Drew Brees, there was rumors about him signing before he was done.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's definitely rumors.
Does the location of Brady buying a team, does that indicate anything? I mean, we've all heard the rumors about him wanting to play for the Raiders. Jimmy G's there on a short-term deal. Is this maybe Brady being like, hey, Raiders?
Is he going to be like headquartered is the new Brady headquarters in Vegas? Now, Giselle made it
Jimmy
seem
G's
like
going to get hurt. We know it. So maybe the Raiders like, hey, we know Tom Brady's down the road. Let's give him a call.
Tom's just hanging out at the Bellagio. Let's go see if he's by the pool. Get out of here.
Mark Davis is in the lobby, so you might as well just bump into each other.
Yeah, he's at the Cosmo hanging out, playing $25 hands of blackjack. From the article in Vanity Fair, it looks like they're going to be set up in Miami. So that's going to be the home base. She said that's where the headquarters are. He apparently bought a $17 million house there, and that's where, like, the kids are going to be and everything.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
so why Vegas?
I don't know.
Yeah, but also, dude,
it's the most visible WNBA franchise.
And, okay, of all the Tom Brady visibility things, owning part of the Aces is not the biggest.
No, but it's just another thing. It's just another thing in the portfolio, and maybe I'm wrong. I didn't think he would want to be out there this much.
Yeah,
all these things are very public.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to rip the WNBA, but we're not going to remember that he owns the Aces when he's the #1 Fox NFL guy like Troy Aikman.
No, it's just like another thing. And obviously he's doing it as a statement, right? He's saying, I had 3 older sisters and he's got a daughter, and like he wants to make that part of this.
The other part of it is when you're under Bill Belichick for 20 years and you can't say or do anything controversial, it's like, let me just get out there. Right? It's like that. It's like the kid whose parents were super strict. Now they're in college.
Yeah.
And they just go buck wild because like they had no chance to do anything. So you had to cram everything into a small space.
Man, that is so true about the kids whose parents were so overly strict and then they go to college. It's funny because now that I'm a parent to a 3.5-year-old, so we got some time, but it makes me think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the kids who are never allowed to have like sugary cereal, and then all of a sudden they just go to college and they're just like housing Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I had a friend who, like, her bedtime was 7 p.m. She couldn't go out on the weekends past 8 p.m. So if there was a movie, she had to, like, go right from school and be home by 8. She got to college, things changed.
Yeah. Yikes.
It's funny, too.
It's like you think you're doing your kids a favor, but you're not. Yes, I'm sorry.
By the way, one thing, you know who I think of as the biggest WNBA supporter is LeBron. I feel like
Draymond, too.
Draymond, yeah, but because LeBron's so high profile when he says anything about it. Steph Curry's a big supporter.
Yep.
We know Kobe was a big supporter. But see, for Tom Brady, it doesn't feel quite. It's like LeBron and the WNBA are a big deal. And by the way, LeBron is going to live tweet Caitlin Clark today. He's obsessed.
Well, he's also going to own the NBA team in Vegas, so he and Brady will be hanging out by the Bellagio together.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, do you think there's a tie in here? They're buddies.
Maybe.
Think LeBron is...
Maybe this is Brady's just entree into ownership, and then it's, the NBA is going to expand, and they're going to expand to Vegas.
There we go.
What? I just hit it?
Tom Brady and LeBron are going to buy the Las Vegas NBA team.
NBA team.
Yeah, but
Brady doesn't have that kind of money.
To front.
You need billions. The Suns just sold for $4 billion.
Right, but you're part of a deal.
Right.
You don't need all the money.
I mean, Brady's net worth has to be in the $500 million range, right? So if he's a secondary partner of a team with LeBron, who's
team
a
up with
billionaire,
Josh Harris.
Yeah.
Do you think Brady's made as much as Alex Rodriguez? Definitely not from football.
Well, I know his net worth when he was with Giselle was around the $1 billion range. But that's because she was worth about $400 billion. He's got to be worth at least $500 million. At least in that range.
I think so. What is Magic has evolved in something now too, right? He wants the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders with your boy Josh Harris, owner of the 76ers.
Brady doesn't need the money. All right, this is all coming full circle. Brady and LeBron are camping out in Vegas. It's going to be the coolest thing ever.
What's that team name?
The Las Vegas
LeBron's
Goats.
Kings? Oh, the Goats.
No, they're not the Kings.
That's pretty good.
The Goats.
Yeah.
What a terrible mascot, but a cool name.
There's a Hartford minor league team called the Yard Goats, right?
It sounds about right.
Yeah, this is not the same thing. Yeah, I think this is all a step.
The Las Vegas Ring Chasers.
And then they're going to do like a Frank Sinatra Ocean's 12 kind of movie, Ocean's 11 kind of movie.
They're going to knock off a casino?
Yeah, whoa. We have just hit screenplay.
That's like
gold.
good idea after good idea after good idea. It's got me the glasses.
Cat burglars. I love it.
LeBron James. Who else? We need another owner. LeBron, Tom Brady, and...
I mean, Dwayne Wade's with the Jazz. Maybe he like sells off and goes into...
We need a different sport. How about...
Tiger?
Tiger.
But Tiger back in Vegas, I don't know, guys.
That's a great point.
Well, this guy's been through a lot. Maybe keep him out of Vegas. Although Michael Jordan is selling his stake, maybe you get Jordan back in.
Oh no, I don't see LeBron. I don't see Jordan.
No,
LeBron
Jordan and LeBron can't be together.
He's gonna buy the.
A-Rod owns the Timberwolves.
Yeah, well.
I see Jordan's going to buy the biggest rival. He's trying to get out of the NBA team. He's going to buy a WNBA team to try to be better than LeBron's WNBA team.
The pettiness knows no bounds. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You still have a time. Advice Duck makes an appearance in just moments. Get your questions in, and maybe, just maybe, the Advice Duck will answer your prayers.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Did someone say I should be a Swedish DJ the other day?
It was me.
Okay. Yes.
I said in these glasses that we're wearing, our Phil Knight glasses today, I said we look like Swedish DJs that had a hit song in 1997 have been touring off it ever since.
Sven. That was your name.
Yeah, I feel like this might have been a Swedish song we're listening to. But it's Friday, final hour of the show, which means that we get a special guest visitor, somebody who probably could have helped the Oregon Ducks during their ill-fated NIT run and when they didn't have any support.
I was at the game. I don't know what Coach Altman was talking about.
Yeah, here is the Advice Duck.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you could be here so I can answer all of your quandaries and conundrums. So I got a couple for you on this week's episode of the Advice Duck, I guess, show within a show. Here we go. This one came to us in an email. You've been talking so much about social etiquette faux pas this week. So yesterday I was walking into work and the guy in front of me didn't hold the door open for me even though I was right behind him. Then at the elevator, a different guy made no effort to hold the door when I ran up. What are your thoughts on holding doors and elevators for people? This is an easy one. You've got to go overboard on the holding of the doors.
Always err overboard holding doors.
Got to do it. Because you'll feel worse about holding the door the extra second as opposed to if you don't do it at all. So it's always a more is more situation with the doors and elevators.
What if you get caught in a tweener situation where the person's about 6 feet away? But no, hear me out, Advice Duck. The person is 6 feet away. If you hold the door, that forces that person to run to make that door. Yeah. So you're making them go to pace they don't want to go.
Yeah. You know what? Probably that person could probably use a couple, use a jog.
You guys have had that, right?
Generally.
You've had that, right?
Especially when you're holding it for someone, they're coming up the stairs.
Or for some reason, they don't want to go through that door so quickly, they're holding something. Yeah, they're coming up the stairs. So I think it's a bit of a catch-22.
No.
But you're saying overdo it anyway.
Gotta always overdo.
The worst situation, though, is when you become the door holder and now like 15 people in a line come behind you and you're just like, the door guy.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're running for like a plane or a train or something, you've got to just hold it.
But actually, I kind of
like... You're just the loser for the day.
I like being the door guy, but you get a lot of thanks.
You do, but
hey,
where's the cutoff? Like after the 9th person walks in, is it rude to cut off the 10th person, or you have to wait for the entire line of people?
Whole line.
Oh.
If someone was cool, what they do is then they take over. Then somebody's like, "Oh, I got it on the back end," you know.
But has it ever actually? That's never happened to me where someone's like, "Oh, you know what? I got it from here." It's never happened.
No, generally not, because you're the sucker holding the door.
Yeah.
But you gotta just
taking on the role.
Hold the door. You gotta hold the door. That's it. Okay, this one more for the advice duck came to us from a friend of ours, Andy Gray. We used to work with him at Sports Illustrated. He said, "My 3.5-year-old son won't sleep without his mom. Do you have advice, please?" Now, Andy's a big Patriots fan, so I said put on Bill Belichick press conferences on a loop. The kid will be in a coma. I mean, he'll never get him awake.
I don't think Andy liked that.
He did not like that answer, but it's the right answer. This is what you got to do if kid won't sleep without the mom there. What I think I would do, you know how you can make your own books? Like, have you ever done that before, where you can take your own photos and you can basically put it together as a book?
Yeah,
You ever done this
definitely.
before, right?
We've done that. Yep.
Yeah. It's usually it's a nice gift. You can get grandparents and stuff.
You might do it through Snapfish.
Something like that, yeah. Right. What you should do is create your own little book where it's all pictures of your kid, your wife, and you doing fun things. So there you get a little bit of the mom at bedtime in book form, and then read the kid the story that the mom's a part of a book, and boom. I should be a child therapist. I'm nailing this stuff. I mean, the advice duck is nailing this stuff.
I want your husband to call in and see if this is working.
My kid doesn't have this problem.
Could the picture of the mom make the kid start bawling, "Where's mommy"?
No, I mean, yeah. But in which case, that's Dad's problem. So good luck with all that. Give him a cookie. I don't know.
I love how proud you are of the book advice. Like that has any prayer working with a 3-year-old kid.
Listen, if you really want, just let him watch TV till they fall asleep and carry him upstairs. Hashtag parenting.
The real advice duck would have said, "That's what an iPad is for."
Yeah, just basically just pump them full of sugar and make them run around until they pass out.
Oh,
You're
man.
welcome, America.
So, okay, your kid can fall asleep with just you, and I mean with your husband.
Either of us, yeah.
Because I'm in exactly Andy's position when my kids were young.
Couldn't fall asleep unless your wife was there?
The mom was the closer, yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, mom was closer.
We're platooning at our house.
I was basically, I was, you know how
You're the setup man, and she was the closer?
No, like once in a while, say it was a doubleheader and they needed to pull in a closer who normally wasn't a closer, then I would come in. You know, I was usually, I'm more of a middle reliever.
Yeah.
I could close in an emergency.
Like when the closer's already pitched 2 days in a row.
Yeah. But it was always a nerve-wracking thing for me. The closer was confident, went out there, just strutted out to the mound, put that kid down.
The horns, do.
You could see the brow sweat when I had to put the kids down. It was really terrible.
No Enter Sandman when you were...
No. I think the manager was not confident at all.
Sweating.
God, people who don't have kids have no idea what getting a ticking time bomb to defuse is like to put down a young kid.
Oh man, there was so many times too where you have to sneak out of the room, and it's like you might as well be like doing the army crawl. Last plane out of Saigon.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
creaking. You're done.
You hit
the door creaks.
Oh, Sanford's in the middle of it now.
Yeah.
Well, so I found, Perloff, you might appreciate this. I found like the secret sauce for my daughter. She'll be wilding out, crying, screaming. I sing to her Les Mis songs, and she's out. Like on my own.
She's like, please make it stop.
Time on my own. I was like, I love you. And I'm singing to her and doing the whole thing and acting in the whole, out.
So
it's like weird that you're wearing the costumes and everything. You don't have to go the full way when she's a newborn.
You could probably put our audience to sleep with a little late. Give us a little. Take us. What is it? On my own.
On my own, pretending you're beside me.
Wow, is that Hugh Jackman over there, or is it Mike Sam?
Yeah. I wish Hugh Jackson's my hero.
Hugh, yeah.
He could do it all. Oh man.
I don't know who played it in the original Broadway version. Forgive me.
That was the 80s, right? That's been around a long time.
Alfie something.
Probably when they were doing
well, that was Samantha Barks doing that song. That's a whole different...
I have to admit...
MTV's The Grind.
One of the genuine...
Didn't make it to Broadway.
One of the genuine surprises of being on the Maggie and Perloff show was finding out that Samter is a gigantic theater nerd. Like,
that was an interesting one. It's quite a reveal.
Yeah, doing One Day More at a wedding. an ensemble cast with the rest of the.
And we also noticed you were overdressed.
It was a wedding. I mean, of course I'm overdressed.
What was the name of the ESPN show they used to have in the mornings? Body Shapers? No.
There was a couple of them. There was
Body Shaping was one.
Body Shaping, Body by Jake.
There was it was a 4-hour block of programming. Body by Jake, yeah. But
it's just funny because I feel like now the goal, if you have a 24-hour sports network, is not for people to be in shape. You want people as fat as possible. You want people glued to the couch, not even thinking about possibly getting up to jog, jumping jacks, nothing.
Well, like you said, nobody ever got in shape watching this show.
No, that's not what it was all about. All right, that's advice duck for the. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I had one more. I forgot about this. I had one more. This is Jenna on Twitter. Dear Advice Duck, I'm about to spend a week in a motorhome with my husband, 2-year-old, and 6-year-old. Why am I doing this? How will I survive? Alcohol. Alcohol is how you survive.
Maybe not when you're driving.
Not while you're driving. And please drink responsibly. But that's the only answer to that question.
Yeah. Throw in an iPad for the kids.
Yeah, and a couple.
By the way, that was alcohol for the mom.
Yes, and the kids.
That's how she became the Advice Duck.
Yes, you're not going to get information like that anywhere else.
A spoonful of Jim Beam. Go to sleep.
Yeah, that's the Advice Duck Part 2. 855-212-4CBS 855-212-4227. All right, the Advice Duck goes away. And the shot of the day comes your way next after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
Sports Flash.
Well, 2 number 1 seeds still alive in the NCAA tournament. Alabama has rolled through its first 2 games, winning by an average of more than 21 points, and the Crimson Tide will face San Diego State in the first game of the night in about an hour from now. Houston then meets Miami. The Cougars looking to return home for the Final Four. They're making their 4th straight appearance in the Sweet 16. Kelvin Sampson told the Jim Rome Show the road never easy.
Jim knows what he's doing. He's been around. There's nothing he hasn't seen. What he's done at the University of Miami is incredible. They're good at everything. You know, on our way to the Elite Eight last year, we had to beat the Big Ten champs in Illinois, Pac-12 champs in Arizona. And thus far this year, we played Auburn, very talented team, and now you got to play the ACC champ.
Marcus Sasser has been battling a groin injury, but still at 22 in Sunday's win. Creighton will face Cinderella-seeded Princeton, which is the 15th seed. Sean Miller has often been referred to as the best coach never to make the Final Four. He has Xavier 2 wins away. The Musketeers will face Texas. The Grizzlies, sparked by John Morant's return Wednesday, will host the Rockets tonight, looking for their 5th straight win. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you. Friday, made it. Thinking about cocktail for tonight. Maybe a little Casamigos. Let's hit the shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day, the snapshot of the day, harkens back to our earlier conversation about programming that used to run on ESPN, workout videos.
Do you guys remember those workout shows that used to be on ESPN 24/7? You might be
like the Billy Blanks and stuff, like the Tybo.
Gilad, maybe. You guys all too young for this. It was the ESPN used to be about 80% workout shows. Kiana, you guys don't know who Kiana is?
No.
Who? And all I will say is men were not watching for workouts.
No, they were watching for squats. It sounds made up.
It was.
You sound like you're
ESPN,
the Ken Francis of shows.
They would go from hours and hours of workout shows into some competition where there were lumberjacks who were doing things with logs, and then strongest man. It was awesome.
I'm actually really surprised that there weren't more catastrophic injuries with the lumberjack stuff. How did somebody's leg not get chopped off with that? We're always asking the important questions around here. And I'd forgot about our buddy from 2 hours ago. I forgot about our buddy Ken Francis. That sounds made up. Lamar Jackson's business partner in the entire gym.
Yeah,
which
by the
is
way, you're wearing Lamar Jackson glasses today.
I am wearing the Lamar Jackson
Rocking
glasses
them.
today.
You don't wear those, you rock them.
Thank you. You try, in my case, to rock them. These are the Phil Knight glasses, but Perloff, Casamigos, that's where I am on a Friday night, hanging out with my bottle of Casamigos, and it's a good time. I got the roasted Bell Margarita, one I've never tried before, the Reposado Tequila, fresh lemon juice, simple syrup, a roasted red bell pepper with some cilantro leaves. Yeah. And that's the garnish, is the red bell pepper and the cilantro with a little lemon peel. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was a red bell pepper flavor throughout.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more for the look of it, but kind of cool because I know men sometimes don't love like all this fruit and stuff like all over their cocktails. You don't even drink a rum and Coke, but this is a little bit different with a red bell pepper.
I think men secretly love it, but they're embarrassed. They think it questions their man card.
Yeah, it shouldn't, though. Casamigos.com is where I get all of my cocktail recipes. Big shout out to our pals at Casamigos.
It shouldn't. Say you're on a first date in your 20s, Maggie, and a guy gets... It's something that comes in a pineapple with an umbrella. You're not judging that man.
No, I'm like jealous. Pass it over. You want to switch? You want to have my red wine, and I'll take whatever concoctions in that pineapple.
Get out of here. You're telling me you would go on a date with a man who ordered a pina colada?
Yeah.
That's a mistake. I would advise you against it.
Well, no.
I know your husband. There's no way he was ordering pina colada.
No, but he did go through a phase where just every single drink he ordered, for some reason, came in a ridiculous glass. And it didn't matter where we were. We were in different countries. We were in different bars. And it's like, why are you always getting
So you could be the local pub and end up with an umbrella?
It's like, why is there like cucumber slices and everything all over your drink? We went to Mexico. And he got he ordered a very regular sounding drink, and it came in this super fancy glass.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And you love him anyway.
I still do.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we do Ask the Pros?
Let's do it.
It's time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Susan in Iowa City. Did you see that Shawn Mendes is encouraging men to wear crop tops? What do you think? Don't forget, you can submit a question by going to cbssportsradio.com/askthepros or tweeting it at CBS Sports Radio using the hashtag #AskThePros. All right, Maggie, what do you think?
Yeah, this is like when people who are really rich just tell you to live your best life. You know, you got to take you time, me time, you know, and self-care. It's like, yeah, well, when you got $100 million in the bank, maybe self-care is a little easier. When you have abs like Shawn Mendes, of course you're advocating.
It's not about the money, it's about the abs.
No, but I'm saying, of course, when you look like him, you're going to advocate for more people to wear crop tops. Like, how many times were guys like running backs in college football wear the crop top, jersey?
Yeah, like Zeke.
Yeah, like Zeke Elliott did. But he wasn't out there advocating for everyone else to do it. It's like, yeah, coming from you, of course you're cool with the crop top. Not everybody looks like you.
Yeah, I didn't actually have to Google what a crop top was. But if a man wears it, it's not called a crop top, is it? It was when Zeke was running around with that
it's
half
called
shirt.
A cutoff.
Yeah, cutoff shirt.
Yeah, same.
I don't think it is quite the same in the sense that if people had said, Zeke, why are you wearing a crop top? I think he might have. I feel like that's a piece of woman's clothing. Am I totally wrong here?
Yeah, it is more of a piece, but I guess it could.
Cutoff shirt.
A cutoff shirt, yeah.
But yeah, I think Brian Bosworth used to wear that.
Yeah,
or something.
right.
I don't know.
Neck roll.
Calling it maybe listen. I don't mean to be all masculine, but calling it a crop top ruins it for me.
So that's a big fat no.
Hey,
I don't know.
Hey, Bill, nice crop top.
Well, if you're like,
this doesn't seem like something two dudes would say
honestly,
to each other.
It's not office attire.
I love these hypothetical conversations. Hey, honey, great coitus yesterday that you had.
But can you
hypothetical conversations? It really brings the conversation to life.
Somebody must have just driven their car off the side of the road. You just brought that up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Wait, if your friend was wearing a cutoff T-shirt, would you call and say, "Hey, I like your crop top"?
If your friend was wearing a cutoff T-shirt as a man, you'd probably be like, loser. Like, or you'd probably feel bad about yourself.
No. But I'm assuming this guy has complete abs. He does not look like Chris Farley.
It's Shawn Mendes. It's like a pop star.
Right. So if I had a friend with abs, which I don't, if he did have one and he was wearing a half shirt, I'd be like, oh, that looks cool. But I wouldn't call it a crop top because that immediately.
What if someone showed up tomorrow at your Saturday, pickup game, either pickleball or basketball, wearing a crop top, athletic wear?
Well, you guys, I've been around a couple conversations that you've had with people who you've had runs with or former runs. Like, you guys still doing shirts and skins? You're like, no.
So
No. We let that go a
we
while
had
ago.
shirts and skins for a long time, and it was very controversial.
What was controversial?
Well, let's say we aged out of the shirts and skins. What do you mean what was controversial? Everyone didn't want to take off their shirt because they did not look good, let alone a crop top.
No, nobody wanted to be skins, you're saying?
Nobody, of course not.
What age was that?
24.
Yeah, that's when the beer and pizza diet really sets in.
Yeah, and actually, honestly, as a teenager, I didn't love it either. And for me, it wasn't really the stomach; it was the paleness.
Yeah, it's pretty pale.
Yeah, it was not good, and I don't want to go out there in the sun and
especially
the health reasons.
March in the Northeast. Like, our skin hasn't seen the sun in months.
Absolutely not. And there are a couple guys who are completely in great shape in our run, but I don't think they'd wear a half shirt. I think they think we would just murder them, just making fun of them.
Well, you could wear like the Will Levis, which is basically the skin tight shirt with the no sleeves.
Yes,
isn't that the one that was the Tebow?
Yeah, I like Tebow. Tebow might have worn a crop top, actually. Did he wear a half?
He wore like 3 sizes too small shirts.
Yeah, that does sound like Tebow. I think he did. Everybody wears those tight shirts that are form-fitting. That's the mandatory.
Zeke Elliott used to wear that.
Oh, yeah. But then also you'd have like the form-fitting, but then the front is kind of a little more blousey. There's like a vest that goes on.
Blousey. Yeah, the football players with those blouses.
You see this a lot in the tournament in college basketball. People are wearing long sleeve.
Yeah.
It's the coolest look. I love it. We were just watching Miami women play, and a woman had a long sleeve orange. It was so cool. And even if it's summer,
be hot though.
Yeah, but you look cool and it's worth it. I often wear an undershirt and leggings. Even if we play indoor, most days.
You must be sweating like crazy.
You're sweating like crazy, but there's a comfort in it, and you're like, oh, I look kind of cool here. So I'm the opposite of a crop top. I overdress for basketball.
I always think especially watching the tournament on both the men's side and the women's side, when people are like have so much hair. You know, like especially the
like
guys.
the UCLA guard last night. Yeah,
it's just there's so much hair. That's got to be so hot.
I think about that every time I'm watching basketball these days because big hair is definitely in college basketball.
Definitely, and the women too. Like the big, like it's just like big ponytails and all that stuff. It's got to be so hot.
We're like two parents watching.
You'll overheat.
Honey, you're gonna overheat.
Hey, I got this one for you too. I didn't realize this, but this is something you might want to keep in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Apparently, peanut butter is classified by the TSA as a liquid, so you have to check it.
No.
Yeah. I read an article about it today. People are up in arms that you can't bring peanut butter more than 5 ounces or 3 ounces or whatever you can do on an airplane now. You can't have, like, the 16-ounce jar that you ate. You can't bring that on an airplane. It's classified as a liquid. You got to check it.
Well, so the scary real thought behind this is that could conceal bomb making
or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Well, no, I think that it's funny though to classify peanut butter as a liquid. Who in their right mind would think that's a liquid?
I think from a bomb making standpoint, peanut butter.
Take it away from the serious.
Well, that's why it is. Well, yeah, no, I'm saying I can't take it away, but no, I think I'm just thinking about what they're looking for there. Like peanut butter is kind of.
I guess the organic stuff with the oil on the top is sort of liquidy, but I don't think of peanut butter as a liquid.
Yeah, but honestly, I think it's just scary if you think about it. They could be using peanut butter type stuff to, like, you could just mix it
harm.
to build a bomb because bomb making stuff is the consistency of peanut butter. Probably is that what they're saying?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
That's terrifying.
No, you can't bring any kind of liquid on a plane over like 8 ounces anyway. So
I think it's less. I think it's like 5 ounces.
Yeah. Right. So I don't think it has anything to do with peanut butter. I think it's just any kind of liquid substance.
No, but
I don't think of peanut butter as a liquid.
You could bring a tuna fish sandwich on a plane. Right. But you can't make a bomb out of it.
I think I could probably bring jelly on the plane.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, actually, if peanut butter's a no, then jelly's probably a no.
Yeah. But by the way, who flies?
Well, this is comforting because we're flying to Houston.
Who flies with peanut butter?
It's something you might do.
Drug
Not
dealers,
anymore.
right?
Huh?
Drug dealers. Right? Don't people put like drugs and different kind of paraphernalia inside the peanuts and help hide the smell?
Oh, is that right?
From the drug dogs. Allegedly, from what I've heard.
Whoa, Samter.
Yeah.
What are you smuggling?
Yeah. Were you a mule in college?
Hey, listen, we're going to Houston, so you guys will be right there next to me. If anything happens, I'm putting it on YouTube.
If anything happens,
they made me bring the
We've
peanut
never
butter.
seen this person before in our life.
Sir, is this your peanut butter?
This is like the third time in 2 days that you've said that you're not going to pretend that you don't know me. I feel like this is becoming a trend.
Well, it's just when the feds come.
He made me do it. He gave me the peanut butter.
We're just like, no English.
I can do that part. No English.
No, it actually could happen here. Is say I did go with a jar of peanut butter. The guard could say you can't bring that on, but you can eat the whole jar while we're waiting here.
But you have to eat the whole jar in 10 minutes.
Been there, done that, sir.
That's what it would set up.
Not going to deter me.
You have to eat 2 jars.
It's funny. I was going to fly with 2 jars of peanut butter to Houston next week.
Well, now you better check it.
I'll tell you one thing. You don't want to sit next to me on that plane if that's the
then
case.
we're all saying we don't know you.
That might be why they don't want you to bring peanut butter on board.
Yeah.
It's the odors in the plane.
Yowza. Thank you to Stu Kovacs and to Mike Samter. Thank you to Lisa Leslie, who joined us, the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers, Nick in Texas, who updated us on the bracket. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the Sweet 16. We'll see you Monday.